All right. Just to give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to talk about the Oscars and our favorite performances from January 2020 through February 2021. So, following the same award season Oscar window that they used for nominees and the winners this year. Let us know who you thought gave your favorite performances of the extended award season, what you thought of the Oscars. Spoiler alert, we thought it was a shit show, but we'll get to that further in a little bit. And what you thought about this year's winners and losers. The big thing being that Chadwick Boseman did not win, and Anthony Hopkins did, even though he didn't attend. We'll talk about the two most recent episodes, the final two episodes of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We all watched the new Mortal Kombat, so we'll be reviewing that as well. Other than that, we'll be going through our usual things of news, some other things we watched over the past week, and then eventually we'll get into our bonus segment, which were our favorite films or some of the most memorable films that we saw in 2009. All right.
As I slowly look up 2009 movies.
Yeah, you got a lot to fill out. You can get to that.
I'm the prepared.
While we're running through the news.
Dragon Ball Evolution sold.
All right.
Great movie. Really true to the source material.
Great movie.
I think I saw it was DBZ's anniversary. This week. I don't know what 20-something years, but
yeah, that makes sense.
It's neither here nor there. All right, everyone. Welcome to Live Breathe Film, episode 40. You're here with Corey, Doug, JP, and Murph. Thanks as always for joining us, or thanks for joining us for the first time. Before we get to our main topic today, which is the Oscars and our favorite performances of the past year, let's run through some news and what we watched over the past week. All right, we're just going to start with news and some announcements that came about over the past 2 weeks. Before we get into some box office stuff, some updated release dates, and our trailer talk section where we talk about some of the new movie trailers that have come out recently. As far as announcements go, big thing that came out right after the Academy Awards, if you guys watched, Another Round, Mads Mikkelsen's movie from Denmark. It won Best Foreign Film at the Oscars. The day after the Oscars, they announced that Leonardo DiCaprio has bought the rights to the film and is bought the rights to make a American adaptation of the film that he wants to star in. So I'm assuming he would take on the role that Mads Mikkelsen played. Doug, you and I,
awesome.
Yeah, you and I are the only ones, I believe, who have watched it so far. I wasn't sure if you were going to be excited about this because you really like Mads' performance. Or you just be excited because Leo's
just so good at over the top, and I just expect him to go really over the top with Mads' role of just getting acting like super hammered and just like a fun hammered. I'm thinking like Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah,
it's over the top fun.
I feel like this version has more potential for debauchery with Leo in the main role. Because for those who aren't familiar with the concept of this film, it's for teachers who decide to permanently have a buzz going. I believe they start with the buzz being 0.8% or 0.5%. I think 0.5.
Yeah, they start
fairly low. But then as it goes on, they start drinking more to find out what the perfect level of drunk would be for them to maximize how they perform in work, in life, in relationships, and things like that. Obviously,
it's very scientific. They're testing a theory basically. If you have 0.5% or 0.05% alcohol content, you're your perfect self. And so they're basically, it's scientific. There's a lot of science going on. They're testing the experiment by making sure that they're always have a buzz going on. I think it's awesome. I want to see the American version. I want to see Leo in it. I'm hoping they round out the cast with other stars. Maybe get Brad Pitt in there. Or
That would be good.
Yeah, or like
Matthew
like
Matthew McConaughey, or just
yeah,
like
I could see Jonah Hill playing like the one who comes up with the idea or something like that. People who Leo's worked with and has good rapport with, because I think the whole friendship aspect will be huge. But I'll be interested to see who they get to direct this one. It's definitely not a movie. It's not needed, but it could be a really good adaptation. It has potential.
Scorsese. Seems like a Martin Scorsese film if I've ever heard one.
Honestly, it kind of does.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe that'll be his next one after Killers of the Flower Moon, which is in production now. It started last week. They could rejoin really quickly and just do it back to back. But yeah. And then our next thing, also having to do with Mads Mikkelsen, is the fact that he has joined the cast of Indiana Jones 5. So if you watched our last episode, we talked about Phoebe Waller-Bridge joining it. We've got James Mangold directing it, Steven Spielberg stepping back from the directing chair and producing it, along with Kathleen Kennedy and basically everyone except for George Lucas. Obviously Indiana Jones is back. Harrison Ford is back in the main role. It's supposed to be the final one. But yeah, Mads is in it. We don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy yet. Since it's American,
Probably a bad guy.
I have to imagine that he's a bad guy.
Yeah, I think so.
Also, Thomas Kretschmann. He was Baron von Strucker in Age of Ultron. He was cast in the movie as well. So the two of them are in it. Maybe they're both bad guys, or one of them is good, one of them is bad. But I want to see Mads as a bad guy. As good as he is as a good guy, he's fantastic as a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Agreed.
Yeah, great casting for sure. I'm excited.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna ask you guys again: are you getting any excitement for Indiana Jones 5 now?
no,
Yeah, not
I
at
mean,
all.
no, absolutely not.
mildly, because I like Mads, but
Dude, Harrison Ford though looks so old at the Oscars. It's gonna I know he'll come with more energy than he does at these award shows, but he looked a little old there.
Maybe they'll use the de-aging technology on him a little bit,
or they'll just play with the fact that he's an older dude.
I mean, will he though? Because he didn't come with a lot of energy for Star Wars.
No, I guess not.
I feel like if you piss Harrison Ford off day one, then we're gonna get a very mopey.
I mean,
Indiana Jones.
The guy also,
but I did think he was good.
I
think he was good in Star Wars, and I thought he was good in Blade Runner as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
This is obviously a different role. It's the most action-oriented of those three, but I don't know. I'll check back in probably in a couple weeks when we get some more announcements and see if the heat index is starting to go up at all, or if
we're gonna have to have like
you guys.
We have to have like an Indiana Jones gauge.
Yeah, exactly. We'll do it till
all our names.
Till July 2022 when it comes out.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that graphic, JP.
Yeah, I'm signing myself. Well, mine's gonna be easy because mine's never gonna move. It's just gonna be cold and ice the whole time. But I mean, yours might move. We'll see. It'll go the way of the Mephisto counter, where it's just gonna be like some jank graphics that I put up midstream.
We'll take what we can get. And then last December, you guys definitely remember Chris Nolan fucking having a shit fit about HBO Max and Warner Brothers, Warner Media, and everything, and how he was just not happy with the fact that they were putting all their movies on HBO Max during 2021. We now know that he has talked to Netflix to potentially produce his upcoming film or films. Just the big hurdle that they need to get over is the fact that his beef is with streaming, and it's a streaming platform. Right now, yeah.
This doesn't seem real. Has this been confirmed?
It came from a Netflix person.
Oh wow, Mr.
so strange.
Mr. Theater is going to go to Netflix.
They would just need to work out the deal with how long it would be in theaters. Global distribution is his one thing that he cares about. So if they can make something work, I mean, it's tough because if you do it the one time, you're going to see other directors want it. But
Chris Nolan, is he still working with Warner Brothers, or is he on the outs with them?
He's on the outs with them.
Okay,
that's why he's talking to Netflix, is like potentially jump ship to a studio like them. I would always think
That's the
Another-
whole HBO Max thing that kind of
Yep.
to push him over the edge.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was not happy with that.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
happy with it. I get movies on HBO Max.
yeah, I don't have any problem with this whole HBO
Right
Max
away.
thing.
Yeah,
You don't have to wait to go.
And
I mean it's
the only
short-lived.
movies making money this year are the HBO Max movies. So like they're kind of helping movie theaters. The fact that they're actually putting their movies out consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So it was both it's ultimately been a good thing. But as we know, they've said it's only a 1-year thing. They are still saying that. We'll see what happens by the end of the year if movies like Dune and The Matrix actually come out on HBO Max, or if they end up pulling the plug a little bit earlier and they go strictly to theaters, or if they get delayed to 2022, just to not have to worry about this issue. And then with one piece of news for TV, it's Marvel. So people wanted to talk about Captain America, or Falcon and Winter Soldier. We could talk about one of the upcoming shows coming to Disney Plus, Secret Invasion. This is the one with Nick Fury and
Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben
yeah,
Mendelsohn's character.
well, I can't remember what his character's name is, but Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn, where they're dealing with Skrulls on the planet, on Earth, and it's called Secret Invasion. But we've got 2 new casting announcements for that. Emilia Clarke, aka Daenerys Targaryen from Game of Thrones, and Olivia Colman, who's basically won every award over the past couple years in film and television. So those are 2 big gets for this show. I would say Olivia Colman's a bigger get, and she was in
I'd agree with
and
that.
she was in Hot Fuzz, so like she's awesome. But yeah, we don't know who they're playing yet. I would have to imagine at least one of them is going to be a Skrull villain or something like that. But I'm excited about the casting. I think that's the 4 of them leading a television show is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like a good time.
I'm not sold that Emilia Clarke is a good actress.
She's good in the
Not
right
like-
thing. I
Yeah.
mean, like when she was doing the scenes,
She was great as
on Game of-
Daenerys,
Yeah.
in Game of Thrones, but that Terminator movie that she was in, she was horrible.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Terminator.
Oh,
It was
I
a
didn't
Terminator.
see that
Yeah,
one.
she was I'm blanking.
Sarah Connor.
I need an
right?
assist. Yeah, she was Sarah Connor. She was the worst Sarah Connor I've ever
I
seen.
mean, that's just poor
I mean, Linda
casting.
Hamilton like kills that role, so it's a hard role to fill. But
Right.
I don't know. That kind of turned me off of Emilia Clarke as anybody but Daenerys Targaryen.
I think
Yeah.
she's a fine
Olivia
actress.
Colman's great though.
Yeah. I think she's a fine actress. I think Murph's right. She's got to be in like the right part.
And we
Like,
probably
the
need to see
right
her in
fit.
more stuff before we can truly judge. All right, and then moving on to box office, Mortal Kombat this past week debuted at number 1. It nearly got edged out by some anime movie. On its opening day, a new anime movie.
Yeah, Demon
actually-
Slayer, right?
Yeah, Demon Slayer. It actually made more money
Yeah.
on its first day. But by the end of the weekend, Mortal Kombat pulled that on top. It had a very similar debut to the one from 1995. It was 23.3 million to 23.2 million for the original. Did do better than Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That one had 16.7 million. So it was a step up, probably with inflation. Annihilation made more, but obviously there were so many variables that were weighing negatively on this one, and limited its box office. The fact that it's on HBO Max simultaneously, the fact that people still aren't going to movies like they would. There's caps on every movie theater with how many people can be inside them. It's rated R versus PG-13, limits the type of people who can actually see the film. So overall, it was solid opening. It was, I think, the biggest outside of Godzilla vs. Kong. So Warner Brothers has just had the 2 biggest of the pandemic era over the past month, which is not bad. That's why I was saying, like, yeah, they're putting their shit on HBO Max, but they're actually putting things in theaters that people want to see at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Versus someone like Disney, who basically has not put out a movie since New Mutants, since they didn't give a shit about New Mutants. So it ultimately is good news for things coming up in May, June, and July, when things seem to be looking like they will be back to normal with big movies coming out consistently, starting with F9 at the end of June.
I walked past my local movie theater today, and Black Widow's coming out on May 1st, so we only have 3 more days.
Oh shit!
To-
May 1st.
totally
that
not
came
a
fast.
movie
May
poster
1st.
from
May
last
1st of
year.
what year?
It just says May 1st, man.
Okay.
This year, then. Totally
Yeah.
not a movie poster from last year, and my movie theater totally isn't shut down. So.
Yeah, if I go by the one by me, No Time to Die is coming out in April. So I guess retroactively it should have came out a few weeks ago, or a year and a few weeks ago. Yeah, it's wild just seeing the things that were supposed to come out and then either still haven't come out, ended up going to streaming, or things like that. But hopefully those types of theaters reopen, because they're not the big AMC type ones. It's the independent type chains.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to release dates. 2 quick notes. Paul Thomas Anderson's new movie, Soggy Bottom. Weird name, but wouldn't expect anything less from PTA.
Nope.
It's opening in limited right around Thanksgiving, November 26th, and then opening wide on Christmas. This one seems like he's going back to like his roots, where it's taking place in the 70s. It's set in the San Fernando Valley. So like his first 3 big films, Boogie Nights, Magnolia, and Punch Drunk Love. Bradley Cooper's leading the cast. It's more of an ensemble type cast, take place in high school. So it seems like this will be return to form if people haven't enjoyed his like period pieces, since I don't think he's made anything but period pieces since Punch Drunk Love was his last one set in present day, and that was in 2002. Everything since then has been kind of historical to a degree. So I'm really looking forward to this one. Corey, I know you said you want to catch up on PTA's filmography over the course of this year.
Yeah. There's a bunch that I need to watch.
What
There Will Be
what
Blood
is
is
his
another one.
filmography? This
Boogie Nights, There Will Be
And
Blood,
what-
Magnolia. What other weird ass
The
movies did he make?
The Master.
Oh God, that movie.
Yeah, The Master. I haven't seen that, but I remember the trailer.
Phantom Thread with Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah, that I want to watch.
Inherent Vice with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep.
And Punch Drunk Love with Adam Sandler.
I'll honestly
Oh, wow.
probably
So-
I'll probably revisit all of them, except for Boogie Nights because I just watched it again within the past 2 months. But the rest of them I haven't watched.
He's Mr. Maya Rudolph for those who are unaware of who
Mhm.
Paul Thomas Anderson is. Fantastic director, but his output varies with. I'd say your taste in film will ultimately determine whether you think he makes good films or if they're just like kind of pretentious and not that great. But there are definitely some that I think anyone can watch and enjoy. And well, unless you're like Boogie Nights would be the biggest one that I feel like anyone can watch, unless you're like a prude, in which case you're not gonna like Boogie Nights.
Yeah. It's just strange that like the guy that made Boogie Nights made The Master to me.
Yeah.
And There Will Be Blood, and There Would Be Blood's okay.
Yeah, it's just slow. That was the biggest takeaway for me.
It's just a crazy Daniel Day-Lewis performance is all I think of when There Will Be Blood.
He took his Gangs of New York performance and like went on steroids for this one.
Yeah.
Huh. And I did not realize that this guy was married to Maya Rudolph. So
they've been married a long time, right?
I believe so. A while now. I think he went out with like Fiona Apple, like when they were both like up and coming, like dominating like in the indie scene in the late 90s. But yeah. And then the other piece of release date news is we're gonna keep banging the drum for Ted Lasso, season 2.
Oh yeah.
Season 2 comes out July 23rd. JP, you gotta watch it.
Huh? What?
Ted Lasso.
Ted what? You guys have never mentioned that before.
No, never.
We don't. It's not a weekly.
Get past your Jason Sudeikis.
I don't think I have Apple TV Plus Max.
Netflix. Do you or your wife have iPhones?
She does.
You might be able to get a free year because
She might have it.
they're very like loose with giving away free years, memberships for Apple
Yeah,
TV
I think we
Plus.
got a free year for
I have a free year as well.
a new iPhone. They just like threw it in.
Yeah, I got one with my MacBook last year.
But between Ted Lasso and Mythic Quest, I mean, two pretty solid shows that I would definitely recommend checking out. So just get your hands on a free Apple TV Plus Max
Mythic Quest season 2
account, and you're
starts
good to
next
go.
week.
I will. I'll put it on the list.
There you go. Yeah, but Ted
Sounds super
Lasso. I
promising.
mean, Ted Lasso is the most upbeat comedy you can possibly watch.
I'm into upbeat comedies.
Like you're just gonna feel good after watching it. So hopefully they repeat the success of season 1 because that's been. I guess Sudeikis has been like running away with every award for his performance on the show.
Well, that's good.
Since it's much different from the previous types of roles he was in, where he was kind of getting typecast as the same type of character.
Yeah, he got very annoying. Very annoying.
Yeah, he suffered from like the Vince Vaughn type of shtick, but his own version of it, where he was just playing the same thing over and over. Thankfully, they've both kind of branched out from that. All right, movie trailers. We've got West Side Story, Luca, the new Pixar, The Conjuring 3, and Shang-Chi, the new MCU film. We'll start with West Side Story. We saw the first trailer drop, or first teaser trailer drop at the Academy Awards. Steven Spielberg, he's directing it. Filmed right by us in Paterson, New Jersey.
No,
along with in New York City, of course. But yeah, my first thought from seeing this teaser is that it looks very similar in plot to, well, it just looks very similar to In the Heights, the other musical coming out that takes place in New York City this year with a Latino cast. Pretty weird that they're both dropping this year. They got, I think, 6 months apart.
Is it though? It's like Deep Impact and
That's true.
Armageddon.
Well,
Yeah,
West Side Story was supposed to come out at the end of 2019, wasn't it, originally? Or the end of last year?
It's supposed to come out at the end of 2020. And In the
Okay.
Heights was supposed to come out summer of 2020. So it would have just been the same situation last year. But yeah, you are right, where two films that are very similar end up coming out this same year. Volcano, Dante's Peak,
Yeah.
White House Down, and Olympus Has Fallen, A Bug's Life Ants, Deep Impact Armageddon. It is very strange how that tends to happen. A lot of the Pixar and DreamWorks movies did that. But
I want to know who the spy was. There had to be a spy.
Jeffrey Katzenberg was definitely the spot. Like he knew before he left Disney, he knew probably everything that was like in development. And was like, all right, they're making Finding Nemo. We're gonna make Shark Tale, but Shark Tale's fucking garbage.
And all the characters are gonna do this.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't work out that much for DreamWorks in the long run. Pixar much better. But yeah, any other thoughts about West Side Story, or we'll just go straight into the Pixar movie?
I mean, it looks cool. I said this to you guys before. Spielberg is just always nails like the nostalgic pieces and like period pieces. I think it seems like it's gonna be cool looking. Hopefully, it's fun. Music is good in West Side Story, so
I've never seen the original.
it's good.
I don't know what I'm getting into.
Yeah,
You've never seen the original?
yeah, it's really good.
Why have you?
How did you avoid seeing the original West Side Story your whole life?
Yeah, I'm
How
surprised.
did I? How
I've
did
never
you
seen it
see
either.
it?
Oh my God!
Where
Wow!
would I have
I
seen
don't
it?
like musicals.
Stop the presses.
All I know is that the gang
Why did you see it?
they come at each other doing this the whole
Yeah,
time.
I've seen it. Like, who
That's all I
hasn't
know.
seen West Side Story? That's just such like a classic.
I apologize, but no, I never seen it.
Wow. Well, hopefully, when we do our movie trivia game coming up in a few weeks, little promo. It's all West Side Story, so I can just mop the floor with you guys.
Yeah, well, hopefully you're not up against me for that one.
Yeah,
Um,
get rid of all West Side Story questions.
Yeah, but West Side Story drops in December. Probably gonna be an award season front runner for next year. But let's go on to the Pixar one, Luca, which is coming out on Disney Plus June 18th, exclusively to Disney Plus. So Pixar's second in a row. Trailer didn't. We talked about the teaser trailer a few weeks ago. This one fleshes it out a little bit more. You're dealing with two mermen who are, I don't know if they're technically mermen, but they come out of the water, then they look like people.
Merman.
If they have water on them
Man.
and they have gills and fins and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Zoolander. Nice. I don't know. The movie just looks kind of like the trailer is basically just kind of making a bunch of Italian stereotype jokes. Not anything offensive or anything, but I don't know. It looks kind of like generic. I'm sure it's going to end up being good because it's Pixar and their batting average is I don't know,
Pretty good.
900 something.
It could be a dinosaur.
It could be a good dinosaur. It could be a Cars 2. Well, it can't be a Cars 2. That was really fucking bad. That's on its own other level.
Yeah, but they probably had 4 people develop Cars too, because they didn't give a shit as long as it was going to make money and it was going to sell toys. They're like, okay,
Yes, which it definitely sold toys.
welcome to Pixar. You're developing Cars 2 now.
I worked
So
at Toys R Us. The summer Cars 1 came out, and dude, they were selling car stuff like crazy. Like little like beds for like fucking toddlers to lay in.
Love it.
That are in like the shape of a car, like Lightning McQueen, all that kind of stuff. Carried a bunch of them out to Cars that summer. But yeah, Cars 2. Anyone else have thoughts about Luca?
I mean, I'm not very excited about it. I really didn't care for the trailers, so we'll see if they sway me once it comes out. I'll definitely watch it eventually.
I mean, it's free on Disney Plus.
Right.
Like it's gonna be that easy where you just hit play.
I
Sit
still
down
haven't
for 2
seen
hours.
Soul, nor have I seen Onward.
I'm sure it'll look good though.
You say that, but you know, there are lazy people out there like me who forget that these movies are free.
Is this true?
I'm excited.
it
we'll
does
get a nice ride out of it, I'm sure, in Italy at Epcot.
Oh yeah, in like 2030, they'll have a ride there.
Yeah.
So we've got that to
It'll
look
be in
forward
Italy.
to when we're in our 40s.
Yeah. Oh God, no.
I know, it's a scary thought.
No, don't say that.
Could be 50s if it's like the late 30s,
Don't say that.
right? Oh God.
Don't say that.
Yeah,
All right.
I come here to feel good about myself.
Yeah, moving on from the passage of time.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about movies.
That's fair. All right, let's talk about a movie about death.
No.
The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. This is the official third part in the Conjuring, I don't know, universe. Whatever. Does it have an official name like the MCU?
Conjuring verse.
I think it's I think it's just the Conjuring universe.
All right, we'll go with that. The Conjuring
At this
universe.
point.
the spooky verse.
So yeah, this one's dropping in theaters in HBO Max the first week of June. So very soon. Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, they are returning as their ghost hunting characters. This one's dealing with a court case where somebody is claiming possession by the devil, and that's why did he murder a kid in that trailer? Is it the one that like looks like it gets fucking Johnny Depp in Nightmare on Elm Street like through the water bed?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I didn't make that connection, but it could be, I guess. But I thought that kid was a reoccurring character throughout the movie, but who knows?
Maybe he is. I don't know. But yeah, he kills someone. He's on court for it. They're trying to prove demonic possession or something like that. So slight twist on the first two, where they were more just like straight up haunted house movies, and ended up dealing with exorcisms. But looks creepy. Definitely looks better than The Nun or some of the Annabelle films.
Annabelle 1.
Yeah, I mean, this one doesn't have James Wan directing like the first two, which is has me a little worried.
It's disappointing.
Yeah, I think it's the director of La La Reina, if I'm not mistaken, which I never saw. But
I thought it was pretty good.
I'll,
That one.
I'll catch this one at home, since don't have to pay for it, so why not? And nice spooky movie to watch in darkness at home. But Doug, how far are you in these movies? You've watched what, one and just one?
That's it, just the first one.
You got to catch up, man. You got to watch a
I
lot of
like
Fast
what
and Furious movies and a lot of Conjuring movies over the next month and a half.
Yeah, I liked what James Wan did. I don't know. We'll see. Annabelle doesn't really speak to me because the like a doll going after people just
Yeah, but
doesn't really,
it's not
seems kind of
Chuck-
goofy.
It's not Chucky. Like it's not the Annabelle's not walking like with a knife like out to get you.
Yeah, I think you would like Annabelle. I mean, Annabelle 1 is just not a good movie, but Annabelle 2, which is a prequel, and they kind of retconned 1, is fantastic. And Annabelle, the third one, Annabelle Comes Home, is really good. You probably would like both of them.
More of a Brahms the boy myself, you know what I'm saying?
I unfortunately know what you're saying.
The
Yeah,
Nun.
Annabelle 3 was essentially like The Conjuring 2.5.
Yeah.
So
The Nun grows on me every time I watch. I've watched it like 2 or 3 times. It's still not a great movie, but I don't know what it is. It's still enjoyable to me.
Keeps calling to you. Apparently,
Yeah.
you keep coming back to it.
just when he thinks he's out,
Yeah.
pulls him back in.
But the trailer for this was great. I'm pumped.
Yeah, pretty weird that we only got the trailer like a month before the movie's coming out. But
Yeah, we were talking about it like a week and a half ago. Like, where's this trailer?
yeah,
It's like a Mortal Kombat situation.
yeah, all these HBO Max movies, they're Godzilla too. Like the trailer only dropped like a month and a half before.
Yeah.
It's only like it seems like the only ones that are going to be come out like way in advance are like the ones that are monster big movies, like
Yeah,
the Batman, Suicide Squad, exactly.
I wonder if that.
It's where the hype, like they just want to run that fucking train for a year,
Yeah.
because they know it's going to make bank.
I wonder if that has to do with like minimizing marketing, like because
Probably.
they market it obviously on HBO Max, for however long before, 2 weeks before. So maybe that has to do with it.
Yeah, and I mean they wasted so much money on marketing on so many movies last year that didn't end up coming out yet. So they're probably trying to recoup losses. They'll probably go back to normal in 2022, but we'll see. All right, and the final trailer, we've got the MCU's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This one's coming out Labor Day weekend. Odd time for an MCU movie to come out. Essentially the very end of summer when movies typically don't make fucking squat. I think Rob Zombie's Halloween has the Labor Day weekend record with like $30 million.
That's crazy.
Should probably beat it then, I would imagine.
It should destroy it.
Yeah.
We'll see how much the box office returns to normal, but I would say even if it was like now, it would probably make close to 60 million.
It's impressive that he's had it for that long.
It goes to show that no one goes to the movies on Labor Day weekend, and nobody has the balls to put out movies on Labor Day weekend.
It's so weird. Why did no one go to the movies?
Tenet did last. It's like the last weekend people are outside with friends and barbecuing and going to beaches and things like that.
Go to the movies.
Apparently, Marvel has the balls to do it.
Yeah, I mean, August was a dumping ground for a long time, where like only the first 2 weeks people would put out quality things, but it's slowly expanded. So Tenet did Labor Day last year, but the box office just wasn't normal. If it was even a little bit better, it would have beaten Halloween. But yeah, what do you guys think about Awkwafina? Everything. I don't know. There's like no other names in the movie. She's the only one.
I mean,
is Michelle Yeoh
names.
No, I don't think so.
She's in something that's coming out. I forget what. Well, either way, then yes, there are no names except for Awkwafina.
There's the apparently I think it's the lead is the one from the Asian the Chinese Departed.
Infernal Affairs.
Oh,
Infernal Affairs.
that's where I recognized him from because he looks so familiar to me. All right, that makes sense.
I mean, that's
Who
a
did he
pretty
play?
big movie. I mean,
Who did he play?
granted,
Leo or Matt
I thought he
Damon?
was like the Matt Damon
yeah,
character.
yeah, I think so.
From what I read, I've never seen Infernal Affairs.
It's good.
Interesting.
I don't know. But for me, we saved the best trailer for last. I thought the trailer looked awesome. I thought it was everything I wanted to see in this movie, which is just felt like all the kung fu action looked awesome. Just looked really felt really authentic. I thought they did it right by casting largely Chinese actors to play the parts in this movie. It does not feel like Iron Fist, which was like the action, where I felt like the action kind of sucked, and the cast needed some work. I thought this felt like Marvel kind of dabbling into like a kung fu type movie, and I'm kind of excited for it. I think that's a cool area for Marvel to explore. They haven't done it yet. I liked how it looks like the 10 rings are like these like power bands that they wear instead of actual rings on the hand. I just thought the trailer had a lot of cool parts in it. I mean, you mentioned Aquafina part. Seemed a little over the top.
Hey, I fucking was right. Michelle Yeoh is in this movie.
Oh, you didn't see her?
I don't know. She's in it. I just looked up.
Well,
the
that's
See
good.
her,
She's
know that she's in
a
it.
good actress. But
Shang-Chi, they redid it, I guess, from the way the comics were. And Shang-Chi is now the son of the Mandarin in this version.
The Mandarin is in this movie.
Yeah, he's the narrator, and you see him, the long-haired dude. That's the Mandarin, the actual
It's not
Mandarin.
Ben Kingsley.
No.
God damn it! If Ben Kingsley's not in this movie, I'm gonna be a little pissed off.
Trevor Slattery.
Trevor Slattery.
They should at least get him in the post credits or something.
Gotta.
Yeah, I would hope.
Like, have the actual Mandarin show up to kill him, just for.
Or maybe he visits him in fucking prison.
That'd be
because,
wonderful.
I mean,
It would be great.
He'd be in prison in California. It looks like they're in San Francisco in the movie.
Why
That'd
did
be
you
cool.
steal my identity, you asshole?
That'd be really funny. The movie looks like it's shot beautifully. It's got Bill Pope shooting it, so it's got that Matrix-y feel to it.
Good call. I didn't know he was involved in this one.
Yeah, the fight scenes look awesome. I have some beef with just the way the trailer was cut. And there's something about it when I watched it. I just like it didn't jive too well with me, but the movie looks pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
It looks like a breath of fresh air.
I wasn't thrilled by the trailer. I'm not like I was saying this in the chat. I much prefer when they introduce a character in the MCU before throwing him into their own movie. I'm just more excited that way. Like the way they did it with Black Panther and the way they did it with Spider-Man Homecoming. Even the little bit they did with Captain Marvel, like teasing at the end of Avengers Infinity War. The only one that I was super jazzed for when I didn't know anything about the characters was Guardians of the Galaxy. Because the teaser trailer was so good. Like you need to really blow me away. Otherwise I'm like, just give me the new Thor movie or the new Black Panther or the new Guardians, et cetera, et cetera. Like I'm just automatically gonna be more hyped for them because I already know about the characters.
Yeah.
I imagine it's similar with Eternals when that trailer drops.
I think I agree with JP that the trailers didn't do the movie any favors, but I want to say I could tell from the trailer that it's going to be awesome, just from like the action that they showed and the actors that they showed in action outside of Aquafina, who I like Aquafina.
So do I.
Yeah,
I like her too.
I can't stand her.
The choreography.
What did you see her in, JP?
I don't. She's just been all over the place. I've seen her in stuff. I think I've seen stand up or something. She's just like not my cup of tea.
She was good in Jumanji.
Yeah.
That's like the one I think of her from.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, she was good in the serious role of someone help me.
the series role of Somebody Help
Oh,
Me.
in
I didn't know that
The
character.
Farewell. She was in The Farewell.
The Farewell.
Oh yeah, she was really good in that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I heard she's good. The movie.
Yeah, I liked her in that
Oh,
role.
JP, you probably think of her in Neighbors too, and then
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of too. And yeah, she seems like
And-
equally as annoying in this as she is in Neighbors too.
And Ocean's 8 just wasn't like that good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not a good movie.
She was like decent comic relief in Crazy Rich Asians.
Mm.
Just like I could have done without that last scene in the trailer. Just like, all right,
Yeah.
yeah, we get it.
The one call out that I have is, and to Doug's point, like the choreography looks awesome, and it feels like they're going for like a traditional kung fu movie, which I'm kind of excited about. We haven't really seen, like a traditional kung fu, like Bruce Lee type of film in a while. Not that I can really remember, not recently. And this looks like they're really trying to, drive that home. So if they do it correctly, I think it'll be at least very unique. And if they do it well, then it'll stand out. So it'll be cool to see if they can do that. And then because no one really knows who this character is.
I still have no idea after this trailer.
Most people don't. I mean, I really don't, and I read comics. He's a very, I don't even think he's a B-list comic book character. He's like C-list or D.
I feel like if they didn't do the Netflix Iron Fist show, that they would have done this as the movie instead of Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
But the fact that like that character had been tainted by the Netflix show, they're like, nah, we need the next best, and we'll elevate this character.
It just
just like
takes
the old days where they had to work with like their B-list characters, like Iron Man, and turn them into A-list characters.
Yeah, and Guardians.
It's not like they haven't done it before. It's not like they haven't done it before. So
yeah, they can definitely. They've proven they've got a track record where they've proven that they can take a C-list character and make him awesome.
Yeah,
like who the fuck ever heard of Spider-Man before Civil War? You know,
I personally haven't seen him in anything. No, didn't ring a bell.
Yeah.
All right, we're wrapping up news. Let's go into what we watched. Got an odd selection of films, a couple comedies, some new action movies, a new TV show, and then we'll talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Corey, want to start with movie you watched?
Yeah, so I threw on. It came out in 2016, I think. Why Him with James Franco, Bryan Cranston, Zoe Deutch. We saw it on Hulu, and we just decided to watch it. And I've never seen it before, and I actually thought it was pretty funny. It was stupid, really stupid.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah, but James Franco, James Franco plays like a gaming producer, director, creator. Very eccentric, has like a lot of social issues. And
he's like an Elon Musk.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Elon Musk is actually in it too.
Yeah.
And he starts dating Bryan Cranston's daughter, Zoe Deutch, and she brings her family in to meet him, and they're like, "Why the hell are you dating this crazy person? He's just like embarrassing, just doesn't know how to act in front of people." And the movie's just about him trying to win over like Bryan Cranston and like win over the family, basically. Well, more or less just him. But I was like really surprised at how funny it was. It was just a lighthearted, fun film. Everyone was great in it. Bryan Cranston and James Franco were surprisingly, I mean, they're both really good actors, but they're two actors that I never really thought would mesh well together. But because Bryan Cranston's just so intense with the way he acts, and he did like, this eccentric comedy like really well. So
he's going back to his Malcolm in the Middle days.
Yeah. But I don't know why I never saw this. I remember seeing like the trailer back in the a couple years ago, but for whatever reason I never watched it. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. I recommend it. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, I caught it on HBO a few years ago, and then it was one of those ones where when I'd flip through the channels, anytime it was on, I would watch it.
Yeah.
it's fucking dumb and amusing. Definitely not a great movie, but it's enjoyable. I mean, the cast is likable.
Yeah, and it's got a good theme, even though it's stupid. But I mean, it was fun for sure.
Looks like a lot of love on Twitch for it.
Yeah, people like this movie.
Yeah,
There we go.
Looks like there's a consensus that it's goofy
That
and
it-
dumb.
it's
but
worth watching.
Everyone kind of likes it.
Yeah, I mean, you like just know you're not getting anything great out of it, but you're gonna have a good time. You'll have some laughs.
One other just call out is I watched another James Franco movie the other night. First time in a while. This is the end, and that movie is still incredible. That is a comedy, like a Franco comedy with that group of guys. That just still holds up incredibly well.
Yeah, fantastic movie.
So
I haven't watched it in a while, but
it's been a few years for me
when I initially saw it.
But it was definitely revisit it or watch it if you haven't seen it. So those are my two. Franco, Seth Rogen was in This Is the End. That group of guys. So
awesome. Doug, you watched Shadow and Bone? Is this the first season of this show?
Yeah, like just came out.
I want to watch
Say,
this.
last
Yeah, I
week.
saw a commercial for that.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's
Is
gonna
it
make
based
or
on?
break
Is it
my
based on
opinion.
something?
Yeah, of course it is. It's based on a young adult novel or series.
The good stuff.
Yeah. So basically, just before I get into what it is, it feels like someone was like, I got to capitalize on this young adult novel thing that's going on. I'm going to take Harry Potter and Twilight and just kind of like combine them together. And you get Shadow and Bone.
Harry
Wait,
Potter and
capitalize off the
Twilight.
young adult boom of like 10
Wow.
years ago. They seem like they're a bit late to the party.
Well, I don't know when the book came out. I haven't seen the book, but the Netflix series may be a little bit late to the party. But I guess what the story is basically about is this younger female lead discovers or is in an army, and the army is trying to figure out how to get to the other side of what's basically called the void, which is this area that they don't explain it, but it basically seems like if you go into the void, there's all these monsters and crazy things that can kill you, and so it's a very dangerous journey to get to the other side. But it's not any less or any more dangerous than going around the void, just because of the warring factions that exist south and north of the void. And so this female lead character, when they go into the void, discovers that she's part of this group called the Grishas that have these magic abilities, and she's what's called a sun summoner, which had only existed in legend. Because there's other Grishas that have like firepower and they have like these other magical abilities, but she's the chosen one that has this sun summoner ability that can basically dispel the demons or monsters that exist within the void and potentially even close the void. And so the story revolves around her. She gets transported they transport her to the Little Palace, they call it, and it's basically an area where they train the Grishas in their magical ways. I believe one of the teachers is even like a teacher from Harry Potter. And of course, she's got this guy from her childhood who she really likes and has this bond with. But then there's also this general who's the guy that played the character that the Jigsaw, or the character that got his face fucked up in Punisher.
Dominic West.
Sure.
I don't
And
remember
he's
who's
the
Jigsaw, but yeah,
it's not. I don't know if it's
It might
Jigsaw,
be.
but he's
It
like
might be.
Jigsaw.
Yeah, it might
in
be.
Punisher Warzone.
Yeah.
so he's like the good-looking, also magical person that summons the darkness instead of the light, and he's kind of like the bad boy that she's attracted to. Then she's got this guy from her childhood that she's also seems to be attracted to, and
Cue
so there's
50
kind of like
Shades
a
of
little
Grey.
love triangle that kind of reminded me of like a Twilight love triangle. And then you've got like the magic with the chosen one, which was kind of the Harry Potter.
So is this
piece of it.
based on a book?
Yeah,
All right.
and it's super angsty and teenage
belonged on like Freeform as like an
drama.
ongoing drama.
Maybe, but it's entertaining enough. I noticed the color palette's really dark, so if you have a TV like mine that doesn't emit a lot of light, it's probably better to watch it at night. Just because it's just such a dark color palette. But it's okay. I'll finish it for sure, but it's not a must watch. I don't even know that I would say it was fun. I would just say it was like
I don't even know if
angsty.
I'd say it's a watch, but
I don't know. If it looked cool. It looked like it had a cool style to it.
Yeah, I was intrigued by the trailer.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where it goes. There's another storyline that I didn't get into, which when you watch, maybe will intrigue you more. But that the Sun Summoner stuff is the main storyline, and they get into that pretty quickly.
Cool.
All right. Doesn't sound like it's for everyone, but let us know how it goes when you finish it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, JP, let's resume your quest to watch all the Adam Sandler movies on Netflix.
Boy, I picked a. I'm actually glad we took 2 weeks because it gave me a week to not watch an Adam Sandler movie. I feel really good about that. I feel like I'm returning to normal, but then it's all going to go to hell.
So just
you're about to watch the best one.
JP, can you remind Twitch of what exercise you're going through?
I'm basically a big idiot, and I decided to watch all of the Adam Sandler direct to Netflix movies from the worst one to the best one based on Rotten Tomato scores.
Okay. So you're not going in order of release. You're going by worst to best.
I'm going.
It just so far it's just happened to go in order from.
Yeah. So the week of is next.
Okay.
These two are tied with a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think the week of is actually really good, and that's a shame. But we'll see what you have to say.
Yeah, I also have to cap it off. Last week, 2 weeks ago, Dirk said I have to watch Jack and Jill. So Jack and Jill will be the final part because I've never seen it, and it's a steaming pile of shit. So might as well. Al Pacino and Adam Sandler and Adam Sandler.
Oh my god! All right.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler plays both Jack and Jill.
He does.
Oh, I kind of remember that.
But in this movie, he plays Sandy Wexler, who is he's a manager or an agent, talent manager in Los Angeles in the 90s, who has the worst fake laugh I've ever heard. It sounds like Shy Ronnie from Lonely Island. His character is exceedingly annoying, but has a heart of gold. So at least has that going for it. So whereas the Do-Over had about 9% of a story, this one definitely has about 27% of a story. There were actually some funny jokes in it this time. There was a scene where he's getting it on with his neighbor, and she's a married woman, but her husband's in a hospital bed laying next to them in the bedroom, and he looks over and sees this dying guy staring at him, and she's pleading with him to stay. He just wants what's best for me, and he raises his like dying finger up. And,
remember that part?
Yeah, I got a good laugh out of that one. It's a weird movie. I gotta remember.
It's got a ton of cameos.
It does. It's got Quincy Jones is in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Quincy Jones is randomly in it and throws a bottle of wine at Adam Sandler. Shit.
But it's like Quincy Jones now in the early 90s.
In the early 90s, yeah. And then the whole movie is just based on it made it seem like it was maybe his funeral, and it's like all these cameos of people talking about a fictional character the whole time, and it just like splits in between.
It's basically
parts
everyone
of-
from SNL in the 90s.
yeah,
And plenty of other people.
yeah. There's some really weird ones, and yeah, Nick Swartzen's one of his like few clients. Kevin James is a ventriloquist with a whole bunch of dummies. Yeah, wasn't that great?
Who does
But
Rob
there
Schneider play?
He was he owned the house that Sandy Wexler lives in, and he was a Iranian Jew, as I believe what they described him as. And he wouldn't let Sandy go into the main house or use the pool or anything like that. He comes in at the end.
Oh, well, how about Beavis and Butthead?
That was funny at the end.
Yeah.
So Beavis and Butthead have a little cameo in it where they prank call Sandy Wexler for like 5 solid minutes. And he's trying to sign them to a deal, even though he doesn't realize that they're cartoon characters. That was really funny.
Weird Al, too.
Weird Al, yeah. There's this
Ooh.
whole thing with the payoff being Weird Al at the end. Weird Al not looking so great. He's
Murph, you're spoiling all the cameos.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
There's
cameos.
way too many. I don't remember. Was Clay Aiken in this?
Yes.
He's the guy at the end singing.
Yeah.
Right. Him and Sandler had a little thing for a while. It's not his first Sandler movie he was in,
Yeah,
right?
I'm not sure. I mean, if you're in one Sandler thing, like he's gonna bring you back Like,
Forever.
that's what he does.
I want to know what it's like. Is it the most ideal experience to work with Adam Sandler so everyone keeps coming back? Or does he do like a Scientology thing where he records them saying something horrible, and then every time he asks them to be in a movie, he's like, well, I do have that time that you said so-and-so
Yeah.
recorded and locked in a safe somewhere.
Yeah, man. But there's a lot of people. Fucking
Tons.
Kevin Nealon, Lorne Michaels, Dana Carvey, Chris Rock, David Spade, Henry Winkler, Vanilla
Shore's
Ice,
in it.
Jimmy
Wow.
Kimmel, Conan O'Brien, Louis Anderson. Like I've only said like 10. There's at least like another 15 that are playing themselves in this movie.
There's a random Chris Elliott part where he shows up.
Oh yeah. Rob Reiner like is in it.
The guy from Zohan's in it. His little buddy that follows him around everywhere.
mm,
I forget what his name was, but he plays a pretty funny character in this.
yeah, it's a lot of people. And then Alan Cover, obviously, and
Of course.
Jonathan Loren from plenty of his movies as well. So yeah, it's got a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's at least interesting how they did it. It was they tried. Bless their soul, they tried. But not a very good movie. I will not be watching this one again.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't watch it again either.
No. But onward we go, and hopefully the quality starts going up a little bit more. Murph's got me hyped for the next one, so it's a pretty good movie. So.
This one I think is good. The other one is not good. Murder Mystery.
Okay.
Maybe you'll like it more than I did.
Maybe. I mean, Murder Mystery seems like it has a fairly positive.
It's different in that it doesn't have all the same people. Like it's got
Jennifer Aniston's in
the dude from the bad guy in Fast and Furious 6, Luke Evans. He's in it.
He's a forgettable man.
Yeah, it's got like obviously Jennifer Aniston, who's been in some Sandler movies, but for the most part, it doesn't have like just tons of cameos of people that have been in his stuff previously.
That'll be a refreshing thing.
What I like about the one you're about to watch now is it's clearly not a vacation job. Like it's set in a fucking dumpy house in Long Island. Like he just has like Rachel Dratch is his wife. Like it's not the one where he's getting
a voice.
A little bit.
I don't think he can not do a voice.
I was gonna say, does Adam Sandler do a movie where he's not doing a voice?
Because in the Do-Over, he was supposed to be a normal guy, but he was still doing a goddamn voice.
I think he's got a little bit of one. It's not anything like crazy. Like it's a somewhat of a New York, like I guess a somewhat of a Long Island one.
Okay.
But he's like a put upon like fucking guy. But yeah, it's not the one where he's like going fucking on a vacation somewhere and hooking up with like one of the most attractive women in Hollywood, like most of his movies. He's just fucking going through a horrible horrible week where everything's going wrong, and it's pretty funny.
Okay.
So
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I liked my little week off, not having to watch Adam Sandler. It was fun, but back to work.
he does have he has a new Netflix movie that's being worked on now, but it's like a serious one with Carey Mulligan and Paul Dano. Involves space.
Wow. Adam Sandler in space, huh?
Yeah, I believe it's called Spaceman. So yeah, it's always good when he does some serious stuff in between all these other things.
Yeah, I guess so. Even though fucking Uncut Gems.
Yes.
I will never forgive that movie. It was awful.
I love that movie.
It's awful.
It's a movie.
Sandy Wexler, poop.
All right. And then I watched Nobody.
Murph.
What?
I was just gonna say, Murph. What did you watch?
I watched Nobody. Rented it from Amazon. It's one of the premium video on demand rentals, like $20 since it's in theaters right now. For those unaware, this is the one where Bob Odenkirk from Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Mr. Show, however you know him, either comedy or dramas, is basically put in like a John Wick type movie where he's a complete badass. It's from the same writer of John Wick 1 through 3, different director. I believe the director of the John Wick movies produced this one as well. It's awesome. That's the easiest way to put it. I actually enjoyed this one more than the John Wick movies. It doesn't
heresy.
It doesn't have the mythology yet of those, but I preferred the fight scenes in this one because they're a little more. He's a little more rusty. He's getting like more badass as like the movie goes on. And I felt like it was slightly more like relatable. Like it's a guy who's just living fucking. It starts in a really cool way where you just see him living like his normal day and just doing the same monotonous crap every single day. Till eventually,
just like us.
Yeah, exactly. It's the perfect
just like us.
type thing.
Episode we've ever had.
And then just basically everything goes belly up when somebody comes in two people come in and break into their house to steal money.
And they kill his puppy.
They don't. No puppies die in this one, which is great.
Yeah,
no animals.
They don't
die
actually really do anything that's bad.
No, they basically the son comes and like punches one of the guy, and like Bob Odenkirk has a chance to like swing at like the other robber, but then chooses not to. Basically, then everyone's like, "Oh, you like kind of like inferring that he's a pussy for not like fighting back or anything." Like the cops are, his son, like everything. But then you realize, like shortly after, he very much could have, and he could have absolutely destroyed them. He chose not to. And when something goes bad, where he's on like public transportation, and a girl is about to be like accosted by like 4 or 5 dudes, that's when he finally snaps after everything, and then it opens up a whole can of worms with like Russian mobs and things like that.
Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Was she about to be accosted? Because like, maybe they were like catcalling her, but that was like as far as it seemed to have gone before.
I mean, maybe
Bob Odenkirk basically like kills everybody on that fucking.
I mean, they're trying to kill him. They're trying to stab him and all these other things. He's the one who like empties his gun and is just like using his fists. They're the ones who continue to try to like beat him as it's going along. So I'm all on
But
team
he
Bob
started
here.
it, right? Bob started it. Bob shot first.
No, I don't. I think he calls out to them, and well, maybe he throws the first punch. Either way, fuck them. They sucked.
Once everyone has a chance to watch it, I feel like we need to assess this bus incident and whether or not Bob was in the right.
Yeah, sure, that's fine. Yeah. Christopher Lloyd plays his dad. It's a little goofy with that. Basically, like they all have a history with why they're like good fighters and stuff like this. But action scenes are kick ass. It seems like they'll make a sequel because it's doing very well on PVOD and did pretty well in theaters. So it seems like this will be the new John Wick type series for Universal.
Is it possible they tie it in with the John Wick universe?
Sure, if they wanted to, they could.
Let's do it.
Um,
Do it.
but yeah, I don't like the writer of John Wick isn't coming back for the fourth one, so I don't know. They could always figure something out later on. But it sets up like a sequel, so.
So one of the cool things I found about this was one, Bob got in really good shape for this, obviously. Like he's not Better Call Saul, Bob Odenkirk. He like seemed like he put in the work to get in decent shape to do this role. And a lot of the action seemed like it wasn't a stunt double, it was Bob Odenkirk doing it just based on the way that they shot a lot of the fighting scenes, which I thought was super cool.
Are you implying that Saul Goodman is not unbelievably ripped and in perfect shape, Doug?
I mean, I guess he's going to be in good shape for this last season of Better Call Saul.
It's the flash forward when Gene just like rips off the Cinnabon uniform and he's like all powered up. He's gonna beat the shit out of whoever's chasing him down.
Yeah, I mean, Breaking Bad, he was like kind of flabby, and obviously at some point during Better Call Saul,
yeah, I don't
he
think
got
he's
in
thrown
pretty
a
good
punch.
shape.
He hasn't like thrown a punch or anything on either show.
No, he.
I mean, he gets punched.
Yes, yes, he does. He gets bullied and plenty of other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you guys should definitely check this one out. Anyone listening should definitely give this one a go. Either rent it now or when it goes down to $6. If you don't want to pay the $20 rental.
I still
Right.
think $20 is steep for a movie.
Yeah, it's as high as I'll go.
It's just me.
I won't do anything more than that. All right, Mortal Kombat. All of us watched this one. It's on HBO Max. It's in theaters. Let's give our quick takes. Who wants to start?
Fighting was good. The character design so good. The acting is like cardboard cutouts.
The acting bad.
Fucking terrible. There were like 3 people that were actually good. Kano was
Amazing.
was
Kano's
amazing.
a scene stealer.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kano was amazing.
Yeah, him, Hiroyuki Sanada, who played Scorpion, was great, but he's great in everything.
Barely in it.
I mean, he kills it in everything.
Yeah, he's barely in it, so it's like
Yeah.
They really did not capitalize on that. Because Scorpion and Sub-Zero could have been in it maybe double the amount of time.
Sub-Zero, worst assassin in the world.
Yeah.
He's terrible. He just shows up at places and doesn't kill anyone.
Although I will say that I forgot the actor's name, but the actor who played Sub-Zero, I was very impressed with. I liked him a lot. I thought he was good.
Joe something.
Yeah,
He was in Fast and Furious 6 or 7.
Okay. But yeah, again, he wasn't really in a lot of it.
No.
He had the coolest scenes, I thought, though. Like a lot of the shit he did. I mean, granted, we saw it in trailers, like where he turns the blood into a fucking knife.
Sub-Zero always had the coolest shit. That's why he had his own video game in the 90s.
Yeah.
Which I played, and
that game was impossible. It was really hard. Sonya Blade was terrible.
Oh, terrible.
She was awful.
The actress they got was
she wasn't very
not
good.
great.
No one was
They
worse
should have
than
just brought back
Cole
Bridget
Young.
Wilson.
I didn't think that he was bad.
He sucked. His character sucked.
Who?
The background, Cole Young. The background that they had to just wedge into this movie with him being Scorpion's fucking descendant was so dumb it made me groan out loud.
It was.
I heard it was
I
heard it was a studio note.
It seems like one.
Yeah.
What's crazy is like that first 7 minutes they show you where it's just like Scorpion and Sub-Zero. It's like so great. It's like, why would you pivot away to like the most boring story in the world when like you had me? Like just follow that Scorpion Sub-Zero story.
It was a great opening to
Both actors did a great job. The action was great. I was invested, and they were like Forget that for
And
now.
now here's Cole Young,
Here's this.
a terrible MMA fighter that gets punched in the face, and his superpower is getting the shit beaten out of him.
But can we talk about the fact that they made a Mortal Kombat movie with no Mortal Kombat tournament?
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool though, because Shang Tsung was cheating.
It was
It's
surprising.
basically a movie where they're banking on it making enough money so they can make a sequel that actually does the tournament.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which
I
it
I hope
probably will.
Yeah. probably will.
You know, people are fucking trying to get the role of Johnny Cage right now. I saw The Miz. WWE is
probably the caliber actor that they
looking
chose
for
for
it.
everyone else.
Well, as of today, fans, I mean, I saw this today, and Ryan Reynolds is being petitioned to play Johnny Cage.
Get
And
the fuck out of here.
Of course, he jumps on the social media train, and it's been pretty funny all day, the stuff that he's been saying.
I'll bet.
But
They could have
be
done
good.
this movie with Johnny Cage being Cole Young, and it would have been the exact same thing. You could have him being the fish out of water guy.
Yeah,
You didn't need to make some stupid character that wasn't in the movie and wasn't in the games.
I agree.
There was also
the second act of the movie. I thought was like the weakest, and then it picked up. But
where they all split up and fight each other for 5 minutes and then come back together to do the last fight.
yeah, that was silly. But
Yeah.
there's nothing worse though than when the characters are saying lines from the video games. It comes off so fucking cheesy.
I
Yeah.
kind of liked it.
I
I'm not
fucking
gonna
hated it.
lie.
it was really cheesy.
When the one dude's like flawless victory.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, this is fucking groan inducing. I was so drunk. I was so drunk when I watched it, and I was still like, this is terrible.
I like they made Kung Lao actually pretty fucking cool when he does the teleport thing with the hat.
Yeah,
I thought that was really neat.
The hat
Yeah, no,
kinda
just
goofy,
don't say the
though.
corny lines at the end.
I liked Liu Kang too.
Yeah,
Surprisingly,
Liu Kang was
Captain
fine.
America hat.
Raiden kind of sucked.
There's a
alright.
He
reason.
did kind of suck.
Like, there's a reason why they took 22 films to finally say Avengers Assemble. Like, you don't need to say the lines that are famous in like the source material.
Yeah, totally.
Unless like you eventually you earn the right to do it.
Yeah.
Down the line. Otherwise, it just comes off
Get
as
over-
like cheap pandering. But
I didn't
mean,
mind.
Get Over
I
Here.
thought Get
worked.
Over Here was
That
fine.
worked.
Yeah,
That
with
worked.
Yeah,
Scorpion.
Get Over Here was good.
But we saw it in the trailer.
Yeah,
That's
we were prepared
legitimately
for it.
the only thing he can say in English. Because he was speaking Japanese the whole time.
Yeah.
So
It played
why
off.
the fuck was it in English?
It played off way better in the movie than in the trailer, though. Like I
they
really like.
fixed his voice.
Oh, okay.
They
well,
made
just
them, they 100% deepened his voice for that because
okay. Well,
it sounded cool.
yeah, it sounded cool, and even where it, like when it happened, I was like that was really cool. Like I liked it.
I
Playing the
love
mu-
when he
It's fitting.
puts the sword in the ground and kicks Sub-Zero into the sword.
Yeah.
Playing the music from the first one was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything Scorpion and Sub-Zero based, I thought was kind of cool. Like Scorpion and Sub-Zero used a lot of the moves that you would see in the video game, where like there was even that one move where Sub-Zero like creates an ice copy of himself,
Yeah.
and then Scorpion like breaks it. And I thought it was kind of cool. It just kind of brought me back to the video game. As far as action though, I disagree with you guys that the action was good.
Oh.
Really? I thought it was good.
I thought like some of the CGI stuff was really fun, but I hated the like it followed that cut that some of those action movies do, where like it was just like too many cuts,
To minimize
where it was just like
special effects.
I don't know if it's to minimize special effects. It always feels kind of lazy to me because you don't have to get it all in like one take or a longer take.
I guess
You can
yeah,
do
that's
it
true.
all and break it up. But I just like I hate when the camera just like here's like a punch coming and like it cuts and then it shows like the fist landing on the face or stuff. Like I just want to see it all play out.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought like John Wick does a great job of that. Nobody did a great job of that. Like all your best action movies go for the longer cut, and I just like I hated the fact that it seemed like there was good action choreography, but I hated all the cutting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One question I have for you guys, because I felt this way leading up to the movie. You know, all the marketing was like, oh, this, and like journalists were like, this movie is so gory, it's just unbelievably over the top. I did not feel that way, and I know I'm desensitized because of horror movies, but I still
you're
didn't
right.
think that it was as over the top as everyone was saying.
There
Yeah,
was
for-
one thing I had to turn away, and that was when the lady got
Chopped
The
in half.
buzzsaw.
cut.
Yeah, the buzzsaw.
yeah.
That was the worst.
But it was more brutal and freaky last year.
Yeah, I know.
Totally.
I'm saying like
Yeah,
that was
but that was the only
one time in this movie I had to turn away. I imagined that I was gonna get a little like sick
Yeah.
by it because I don't do gore.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
like
I didn't think anything else was that.
well, Kano rips the heart out of the CGI character.
Oh yeah, the
That's-
reptile dude.
Yeah, that was kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
Um,
Goro
how
gets. Oh no, Jack's getting his arm ripped off was a little gory,
Yeah.
and then he smashes the guy's. The character that Jax fought needed to be removed from the movie
Yeah,
because he
who
was, just
was
some
that?
weird, like googly
The
eyed.
Montana.
He looked like Montaro, kind of. Remember that character?
That was a horrible character. Who the fuck
He-
put that in the movie?
He was like, I said to my brother, he was like the fucking NARP character from Hot Fuzz.
That was a horrible character.
Ah.
Could have done so much better than that, but they put like googly eyed general dude in there, and I was so. And then like the lady with the wings was just such a shitty character that they introduced for half a second. Why the fuck was Cabal some like New York stereotype guy
Yeah,
that had to be really funny? And he's like, "Oh, that's Kano. He's a fucking. I'm in the Iron Lung."
Sounded like
That-
Pete Davidson.
Had the hammy character that was comedy relief with Kano. Why'd you have this fucking guy in there? Just make him a straight character. It would have been fine. That was weird.
Yeah, that was
Didn't
weird.
but-
You know who was also really weird
Who?
and really cringy? Shang Tsung
Yeah, he sucked.
with his stupid, terrible wig.
Yeah. It's the dude from
It's
the
Mr.
whole
Lau
time
from Dark Knight.
I was like, why do I know this guy? Why do I
Oh, that's who it
Yeah.
was.
know
He had
There you go.
makeup on that made him look a little bit different, but yeah, that's who that is.
I go to
Yeah.
Hong Kong.
I tell you,
Uh,
the best fight, which personified Mortal Kombat in this movie, is when Kano fights Liu Kang, and he just does the down kick to him 3 times in a row. He's like, "Is that the only move you know how to do?" I was like, "Motherfucker,
Yeah.
that speaks
That
to
Yeah.
was funny.
yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, it was very
Asshole.
clearly a video game reference.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
meta.
one buttons you the whole time, and you lose, and you're like, "Really, fucking dick." I thought that was perfect.
Two-part question, then we'll move on to Captain Falcon.
Oh,
A, did you think it was better than the one from 1995? And B, do you want to see a sequel?
I don't think it was better because it was better in some ways. It wasn't better in other ways. I think it was kind of on par.
hmm
I would fucking totally watch a sequel.
Yeah.
100%.
Definitely want a sequel. I liked how they established everything. It was I think it was a better made movie, but
Oh.
the original it's very difficult to not see that movie without nostalgia glasses. It's like comfort food for us at this point. So it's very difficult to, judge it, at least I think. But I enjoyed it. I think it was a good setup for a infinitely better sequel.
Doug?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's I'm ready for a sequel. Just fucking get rid of the cuts, go all in on the gore, and give us more like real Mortal Kombat characters. Don't introduce these bullshit characters with
Yeah.
that no one cares about, who's an MMA fighter
Mhm.
and also a shitty actor. Like,
Yeah.
fuck it. Like, you've got enough Mortal Kombat characters. Like, go in on that. That's
There's
what
so
I want
much
to see.
lore too. Like there is a dizzying amount of mythology and lore that they've established over the past probably like 7 or 8 years that they're feeding into now. So
Yeah, and they also, I guess that reminds me of another complaint. The like otherworld, or what do they call that area where
Outworld.
Yeah.
Outworld.
Yeah.
That area was kind of bullshit. It was just like, here's this nothingness blue screen that we're showing you.
Well,
like,
it's different than just going on a boat into fog in the 1995 one, and then they end up there.
They cut to Outworld like 3 times and then they were just doing random shit. They were just walking around and they're like, okay, now you go try and kill them. And then they cut to Outworld again. He's on the throne. Okay, now you two, you
Yeah.
go try and kill him.
it was just like, we have no money to show what Outworld looks like. So
Yeah.
it's just like, empty void.
Yeah, I think they bring back the same director, bring back the main writer, I forgot his name, and let them actually make the movie that they wanted to. Because I think you guys are right. I think that the studio kind of, stepped in a little bit too much with this one.
Way too much.
So
Bring back Jax's baby arms.
yeah, if they do that, I think
That was stupid too.
He's just like
But like
punching.
we the whole like you have to unlock your power.
Yeah,
That was a little
It was
weird.
kind of goofy.
Yeah, that was weird.
Where it was like some people had mechanical powers. Like Kano has like the cybernetic eye, but it was like his power somehow. And Jax with the baby robot arms, but his power was to like upgrade the arms.
To fucking Hulk them up.
dude, they 100% didn't have to have Sonya kill him to get his power to shoot rings out of her hand for 1 second.
Yeah.
Leave Kano in, the only person in this movie that can fucking act. Bring
Well,
him
they-
back for
yeah,
another one.
yeah.
They
he was
implied that
awesome.
like the dead characters can come back again.
Oh,
'cause
no, they
were
can.
saying-
They can.
Can he
Death
though?
is-
Because
I mean, they have.
They
to,
said death
but-
is just like a portal or
Yeah.
whatever.
okay.
Dead characters come back all the time in that game. Or in
Yeah, but
those
he was a
games.
human though. He wasn't necessarily a
doesn't
bad
matter.
guy. I thought it was only bad guys come back.
No, it doesn't matter.
What about Kung Lao? Is Kung Lao?
Well,
Kung
Kano
Lao?
was a bad guy by the end. So
Yeah.
Well, he
no,
was a bad guy by the end, but I don't know if he was fully signed to the
He
bad
got
guy team
turned.
when he died.
It definitely doesn't matter. And they have like it makes sense like in the story too. They don't just come back. It's just
Sure.
it's ridiculous.
I love it. I mean, they have to come back because they have to bring Sub-Zero back, because if they don't have Sub-Zero in this movie, then
Well, it could be like Sub-Zero's brother or
Yeah,
something
nah,
like
fuck-
that. Like
fuck-
there's
fuck
many
that
people that are
noise.
him. So
I know.
all right. Well, we'll probably talk about a sequel in 2 years. But before then, let's talk about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episodes
Yeah.
5 and 6. So the end of the miniseries. Yeah, a lot happened. Mixed thoughts, I imagine we all have.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm talking like Yoda, but
mixed
it was
It's all Disney, Murph. It doesn't matter.
yeah, it was definitely an up and down. I'd say series as a whole. So I guess some of the big things, spoiler alerts to anyone if you have not watched, we're going to reveal a lot about these episodes and what we think is going to come about in the future. Some things that we already know are official that have been announced since Friday's episode finale. But yeah, so I don't know, where do we want to start? Do we start with? I think we start with the most disappointing thing, which is the mystery that had been going around for the whole season of who the power broker is.
So underwhelming.
I knew it.
That was the post-credit scene as well. Sharon Carter,
So
Agent
obvious.
13, is
I was
the
hoping
power
it was
broker.
not correct.
It doesn't make sense though.
It's
It's lazy.
I read that
Very
she
lazy.
she turns in the comics as well on the government or on the U.S. For a short period of time, so I imagine it won't be for long. But who fucking cares? It's such a
It
nothing
was so
character.
like it was such a boring reveal.
Yeah.
I think
she's
a lot
not
of
Peggy
us.
Carter. She's
She'll
Fucking
probably be
lame ass.
involved
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
Thunderbolts, like establishing that whole thing because they're teasing the shit out of that team. So
Even her like
which is that the Zemo team?
Thunderbolts is U.S. agent, and I forgot who else is in it. I mean, in the
Zemo would probably be on the team, right?
I don't know, maybe
Dude, I would
They-
have
they-
to imagine.
I think
They
so.
could.
I think
Zemo's
so.
definitely coming back.
Norman
for more.
Osborn was on it in the comics, so maybe they'll bring Willem Dafoe into the fold. Who knows?
But
Dude,
we even
put
got.
Wexler on there. He's the main villain.
Yeah, yeah.
Love that guy.
I mean, she also got that end credit scene at the end of the last episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and where she's like on the inside now. She's an agent again, but she's also the power broker, and I was just kind of like, okay,
Still don't
Like-
give a shit.
Okay, don't care.
I still don't care.
Yeah, it was. I was very lukewarm with that.
It was a very
Stop trying to make
underwhelming.
Agent Carter a
Like,
thing.
guess what, guys? We got this like crazy setup for you at the end of this episode, at the end of this series, and it was just like, I don't care. Like, I just don't care about her. I don't care about the fact that she's an agent now again. I didn't realize she wasn't an agent until this show.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
Um, Yeah,
was such
it wasn't satisfying.
No.
What are you gonna do? Let's go on to Zemo. Since we've been talking much about him.
So good. Where's Zemo?
So he's in the raft. That's the prison that all like Team Cap was basically in at the end of Civil War. Before Steve comes and rescues them. But Zemo's butler. I mean, he's the most murderous butler since
Love him.
Bernard now.
Yeah.
From Spider-Man 3.
If I got to get an action figure from this show, it's the Butler.
Yeah.
100%.
Does he have a name?
He did.
Did you know? Did you recognize him at first? Because I didn't.
No.
I don't
Who is
even.
he?
No, I mean, like, did you recognize when he was blowing them up?
Oh,
he
yeah.
was the
Yeah.
Butler.
Yeah, because I was like,
I didn't recognize.
"Motherfucker, it's
I'm like,
the
who the fuck's
Butler."
that guy? And then when it shows Zemo, I'm like, oh yeah, Butler.
I loved it.
Yeah, he was.
thought it was cool.
He was
I
actually
mean,
kind of a memorable character for me. So I was just like, there he is. The Butler's at it again.
I was waiting for him to come back, and they paid it off so well.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought that wrapped up Zemo's part in this show because that's totally in character that he'd be murdering super soldiers.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, hopefully he comes back. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Did anyone know she was going to be in this?
No, I still don't know what the
No.
fuck she's doing. Who did she work for?
I remember hearing, and I think I told you this, Murph, like I remember reading like a long time ago that she was apparently supposed to be in I'm trying to think what show. She was supposed to be in something else in one of the other movies, and they cut her like last minute.
Black Widow. She was supposed to be in Black Widow.
Yes, there you
right?
go. Yeah, and I don't think they filmed anything. They just cut like the role, and we're gonna establish her like in the show instead. But I forgot the character. She establishes Thunderbolts. That's basically she's like the Nick Fury of the Thunderbolts, more or less.
Are the Thunderbolts bad?
Did they have anything to do with
They're-
General Ross since he's Thunderbolt Ross?
No.
Yes.
just-
Were they?
I don't think so.
I thought
Maybe
that
they
was his
do.
team.
I don't know.
That'd
Maybe.
be so dumb because why would you repeat such a random word for two different
Yeah, I don't.
things if they're not related?
They're like great.
Yeah,
They're
I'm
kind of like
almost
Suicide
positive
Squad.
that's his team that he forms.
Maybe they're kind of like Suicide Squad. They're like they're not inherently evil people. They're just like kind of live in the gray area. So
We have a
Yeah.
confirmation in chat that it's Madame Hydra.
there you go.
Cool. I'm learning things.
Yeah.
She's got blue hair.
I'm on on the internet, the World Wide Web, and it is saying that Thunderbolt Ross, aka the Red Hulk, assembles the team, the Thunderbolts.
So there you go.
Boy.
We'll see if
All
they
right,
still do
so
that.
John Hurt's gonna have some more stuff to do,
Good.
or William
Love
Hurt.
John.
Yeah. I mean, they're
Oh,
fun
yeah.
from what I've read, the little bit that I've read about them. It'll be cool to see who they slot in the team, like what characters they bring back. So
Maybe you can throw
Yeah.
Deadpool in there.
Classic Marvel, always copying DC.
yeah,
Ah,
Doc.
Um,
I
Ock.
mean, there's also like a lot of we're just talking about like the setup for the future movies. There was Isaiah Bradley's son or grandson
grandson. Yeah.
yeah.
in this show, and a lot of people were saying that he becomes Young Patriot, which is like the teen Avengers, Captain America, where they're already setting up
That's cool.
a couple of other
I mean, they've
characters
been
like
saying
Ant-Man's daughter.
Cassie Lang is definitely gonna end up being in a position like that.
We've also got Hawkeye's
Yeah.
Kate
Oh,
got
yeah.
Kate
a
Bishop.
daughter where they're setting with
You-
Kate
I don't know
Bishop.
if Florence Pugh would qualify based on her age, but
She's like 3 times older than
she's little Black Widow. No, she's barely older than Catherine Newton, and she's gonna be
Yeah.
Cassie Lang in the new Ant-Man.
So we could be seeing the forming of like a Young Avengers too
Yep.
through these TV series and the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a solid TV series, sort of like a was it Titans-esque type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool.
But good.
Hey, that's my Titans you're talking about, man.
All right, U.S. agent. We got to talk about him. Did anyone think that it was a little quick to kind of make
Yeah.
him?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
A
they
lot of
rushed his turn from fucking murderer
I had like whiplash
to like
from
getting his
how quickly
fucking
we
back
went from
tatted
like
and joking around with fucking Bucky.
Everything in that episode, that last episode, reminded me of a lot of Game of Thrones final season, where they were just trying to speed up to the finish line, just wrap up
So there-
everything.
So there's a rumor out there that I had read that what they had filmed was that the Flag Smashers
Yeah.
flag
Flag Smashers. Yeah.
that they had a their whole goal was to release like a viral agent
I heard about this too.
that was like pandemic,
Oh wow,
like
really?
very similar to like COVID.
Holy
Last
crap!
And
of
once
Us, Last of Us 2 and Resident Evil 3 both came out at the beginning of COVID last
Yeah.
year. Like, you can do these things. You can't be scared.
Yeah.
But I had read that like
Everyone's scared though.
once COVID
It's
happened,
Disney.
that they just like cut it and re kind of configured it to make it work. And to me, that makes like the most sense for how these
Yeah.
last couple episodes played
Yeah,
out,
that
because
makes a lot of sense.
they were just so weird of how they were cut.
Yeah.
The way that like Carly's sister was in it, or Carly's whoever that person was that was died,
Got sick and I guess that would make sense why they got sick and died.
and like didn't really seem to have much to do with the story or
Mhm.
Carly's motivations. Like if that was pandemic related for something that got released, like that would have made a
Wow.
ton of sense. Otherwise, it was kind of like a throwaway. Like I don't know that I really felt like that this Carly character had a whole lot of
Oh, she was awful.
motivation
No,
that
she
I
was-
like sympathized with her or anyway cared about her cause.
She's a good actress. I just didn't really care for the character. I didn't.
think
I don't
she
think it
was
was
a-
her fault.
I think she was a bad pick for the character. They
Yeah,
shouldn't.
she was
If you had a
awful.
stronger
Stronger actress. Maybe.
actress in that role, it would have been a better
Yeah.
villain.
I could agree with that.
Or even a
yeah,
better,
going back-
like it would have been like a Michael B. Jordan type situation where like
Right.
they're making you look in both sides of things, which
Mhm.
they clearly were trying to do
Yeah, I
with
had
Carly
no
and the Flag
sympathy for the
Smashers.
Flag
Yeah.
Smashers at all.
It just wasn't.
Yeah, I
strong
just
enough.
didn't care about it. And like going back to your point about Special Agent, like he did like such a horrible, like he just like brutally murdered somebody. And you thought that there was going to be some level of consequence to it, and it was
Yeah.
just like,
No.
no, pig. Hey, Special Agent, glad you're here. Like, glad you're here helping out.
Yeah, you're just not
Love
Captain
you.
America anymore. That was basically
Well,
it.
Yeah, they discharged him from the army, and then he went home and welded his own fucking shield.
Which was like a dime store Captain America.
It
Like,
was-
just gets like knocked out of the way. and, like,
He's got like some fucking tin that he welds together and spray paints it with some Krylon. And then
It was-
just
Bro,
starts
it was like
beating
a
the shit
Captain
out of
America
him.
Not
shit
Iron
from
Man,
Wish.
You can't make your own shit.
A wish shield.
yeah, I love that everyone was just like, get this piece of shit out of the way, and just like knocks it out.
U.S. agent made this shield in a garage with some spray paint. Dude.
But yeah, that was 100%. I agree with you, Murph. It was just like felt very out of left field. It felt like it wasn't earned at all that he like would be redeemed. He was just like everyone just kind of forgot about the fact that he killed somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Bucky's story wrapping up, him apologizing or whatever, revealing what happened to the dude's grandson or nephew, whatever he was.
Again, it was fine. I just think that it failed like a lot of the things in a lot of the storylines in that last episode. It just they wrapped it up way too quickly.
It was so
We didn't-
overwhelming.
We didn't really.
Yeah, we like
It wasn't satisfying. It just wasn't for me, at least.
they built up this relationship in the first episode between him and that character where they had this friendship, and so you were just waiting for the moment where he had to finally confess the fact that he killed this guy's son, and it was just kind of like
They cut away
he's
immediately.
like,
Yeah.
It happened in, like, 30
It's like,
seconds.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? I've been waiting this entire like season for you to do like have that conversation. That was just like you like see him like start to react, and it was just like
Cut.
cut.
Yeah, it was so
yeah,
fucking
that
annoying.
pissed me off.
Yeah,
It was like,
honestly,
why?
the last 2 episodes of the show really soured me on it. It went like it's just mediocre now. When I think about the whole thing as a whole, I'm just like, eh. Thanks for giving us Captain Falcon.
Yeah. I mean, I said
Cool.
this to Murph. Like, it feels like the show was originally designed as a movie, like script maybe in script form. They were like, this is going to be a 2-hour movie, and then they were like, all right, we're going to adapt this into a 6-episode show, and they just had to fill in the blanks a little bit and fill it out, and that's kind of what we got. A lot of it was filler. A lot of it was, to me.
It was
I
like
think.
filler and made up conflict.
Yeah.
It was just like internalized, made up conflict that didn't make any sense. And
It's just weird though, because like there was such there's a good story in there,
it's a great story.
and there's a good story that like there's stuff I really liked, which I loved the introduction of Isaiah Bradley. I love that arc throughout the series. Like I loved
It was really good.
probably one of the most emotional moments for me watching that was when at the end when they bring like I knew it was gonna happen, but they bring Isaiah Bradley to the museum,
Yeah.
and he's got like the Isaiah Bradley section, and like his history has finally been recognized. I thought it was super cool. I thought the aspect of like what it means to be Captain America and the implications of having this black man thrust into that role and having to deal with that, I thought it was super cool, super interesting concept for Marvel to take on, but it just like wasn't enough to carry the show. And so like while I love those parts, I think like Flag Smashers failed as far as being like a compelling story. I think Zemo was kind of a weird detour that never really seemed to go anywhere. There was like a lot of other storylines in this show that just didn't pay off for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had some good stuff. I thought episode 5 was probably the best of the season. And that was the one that kind of just pumped the brakes on the story the most and just dealt with them talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one where Sam's really at home for the majority of the episode and dealing with things there, and Bucky and him are talking when he's really kind of coming to grips with the fact that he needs to become Captain America. I think the series as a whole served its purpose of it was much more satisfying to watch Sam become Captain America this way than just be handed the shield at the end of Endgame.
Yeah, I agree.
We've talked about the fact that he needed to have some sort of a journey, which we got. The journey wasn't perfect. It was okay, but I still think it was better and makes me care about Sam more now than I did at the end of Avengers Endgame. So for that, cool. Yeah,
I think we have to at least talk about before we move on. I mean, what did you guys think of the Captain America suit?
I loved
Shoulders
it.
were weird.
I loved it.
I was cool with it. I didn't look. It looks a little goofy, but I was cool with it.
The shoulders are too square. It looks strange. Everything else is cool. It's pretty comic accurate,
Yeah,
but fucking shoulders are just like a box.
Yeah,
it's a cool
for me,
message, I think.
He has no fucking superpowers, and I'm still salty about that. He's gonna get punched in the face by something and die.
He's got
He
that
does a-
vibranium suit, bro.
He does a bunch of flips everywhere, and then suddenly he's like, I'm flippy guy now. I'm just gonna flip out. You wouldn't be able to catch the fucking shield when it's coming back at you like that, because it would break every bone in your arm.
Yeah,
He needed powers, honestly, and that's just my biggest gripe is that
well,
I
maybe
like
he
that he
will
flies
get.
and shit, but like
Maybe he will get super serum in Captain America 4, which they
So
have announced as a thing that is being worked on.
it's great.
not to rub it in, but I had predicted that he wouldn't get the super soldier serum.
I figured it was going to
The
be a
end of
thing,
this?
but like the only way I saw him just being able to be punched in the face by someone like the Hulk and survive would be superpowers. Like you
gonna
don't
have to-
need
yeah, he's just
superpowers
gonna
to be
have to
Captain
dodge.
America, but like
I-
you can't just be a dude with a wingsuit on flying around with a shield.
He can barely beat a fucking MMA fighter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it just doesn't make sense in terms of the larger overall scope of villains that are going to be coming after them. So like
But,
he's not going to take the beating from Thanos that Steve Rogers did. You know?
I mean,
I think Dirk's got it right though. You don't need powers to be a hero.
No, you
Yeah.
don't need
You
powers
just
to be a
gotta-
hero,
you
but
just
he
gotta be
proved
that-
that he can be a
that heart.
hero. But you need to have superpowers.
Steve Rogers
Get the
had
shit beaten
fucking
out
the
of him.
most heart in the world, but he wouldn't have been able to do dick if he didn't have powers.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Sometimes you just need a vibranium
Yeah.
suit.
Suit.
You're
They
good to
kept
go.
harping on the you don't need powers to be a hero thing. Yes, I get it. But you need powers to like lift a fucking car off of someone and
If you
save
got
their
the
lives.
Falcon suit,
I
you know,
mean-
you got that
Yes,
jetpack and
you
you just kind
do.
of push.
Natasha and Clint survived up until most of this point.
Yes, but they
We've
suck.
been making
They're
fun of them
horrible.
No,
since
they're-
Avengers 1.
They're awesome.
And Dirk says Scott Lang doesn't have powers other than a suit. Scott Lang sucks. Ant-Man's horrible, but he can turn big and crush things. Or turn small, and they gave him super strength. That's a
And-
tiny thing.
Dude,
which
we've
makes
been
no sense.
we've been joking about the fact that Black Widow and Hawkeye are essentially useless in comparison to the other four of them since Avengers 1.
I think they skirted the superpower thing by saying, he did a whole bunch of flips and shit. Now he can catch and throw the shield like a mile away. Because he worked out and he became a hero.
He's like Bruce Wayne without the money.
No, he's not. Yeah,
And the
all the
angst.
Avengers are poor.
And the angst.
Well,
I don't know.
Batman's mostly just fighting street
Yeah,
level
he's-
guys.
Hey,
so-
yeah, I guess
fighting.
that is true.
Yeah.
And then when he fights like Bane or like these superhuman characters,
Yeah, he gets his ass kicked.
His ass kicked and his back
Breaks his back. ends up in a goddamn pit.
So outside of like Ant-Man with Scott Lang and Hawkeye, I mean, Dirk did raise the fact that Tony Stark, who is an Avenger, I mean, he doesn't have any superpowers other than he's just ridiculously smart.
Yeah, but the suit covers his whole body. You can legitimately just shoot him in the head and he dies. Like the Falcon, he's not wearing armor. He's wearing a suit with a wing on it.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised they didn't give him like a helmet.
He's got those goggles.
Yeah. I mean the goggles are
Exactly.
fine, but he should have I feel like you're right.
I'm sure he'll level up in Captain America 4. Like
Yeah,
Captain America, look at how much he advanced, or how much Iron Man's advanced in these movies. They got to make new action figures for each one. So
Yeah.
I hope
yeah.
they do something for him. I do, because it's fine. It's just like the lack of superpowers just make me
yeah,
feel like he's just gonna get the shit beaten out of him.
Mhm.
I guarantee Anthony Mackie's not going to want to wear what appeared to be an actual suit that he had to put on,
Yeah.
and we'll be seeing like a CGI suit in no time where he's just chilling with the dots
Could be.
in his like fucking.
I hope that's on track.
Yeah. I mean, he
Well-
was great. I mean, he definitely leveled up for the most part. His character. I thought by the end, he definitely grew the most for me.
Yeah, I thought Bucky came out strong.
Yeah,
it's gonna be cool
He's
when
been
Bucky's his
consistently
brother-in-law.
strong since Winter Soldier.
hmm
But yeah, we'll see the two of them in the next few years, I imagine, in a new movie. Perhaps we'll get another limited series called Captain America and the Winter Soldier. But next up is Loki. It'll be here only in a month and a half. Starts in mid-June, so that one's gonna be a fun one to talk about. Hopefully they go all out in that series. But what do you say we move on to our feature presentation?
Yeah.
All right. So, as we said at the top of the program, we are doing a recap of the Oscars along with our. We'll let you know how our predictions went for the Oscars as well, and then we'll talk about our favorite performances of 2020, early 2021. We'll start with the recap. I don't know how many of you guys actually watched it. I watched it and fast forwarded through the most I've ever fast forwarded through the Oscars. What about you guys? And whenever Doug gets back because he just walked away mid program.
I really didn't catch a lot of it, but I did watch a little bit, and I watched some of the clips after the fact. I could not believe like how unbelievably boring and stale it was just from the little bit that I sampled. It definitely seemed like one of the worst shows of recent memory, worst Oscars of recent memory.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it
don't
was
know if I'm the only
it was
one.
definitely the worst one of my lifetime.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not the only one.
Yeah, no, it was straight up boring. I didn't like the fact that they would each person presenting an award would like kind of tell a weird story about each nominee. I mean, it could have been nice, but it got old very quickly. If they saved it for only like certain awards, it probably would have worked. But I thought the production was terrible.
Where was
The camera editing was so sloppy when they would run between nominees. You can just see them like rushing to like get to another nominee because they weren't anywhere nearby each other. And Soderbergh produced it, Steven Soderbergh. So like because it's pandemic era, so naturally Steven Soderbergh,
Yeah.
director of
But
Contagion, has to be
where did they
involved.
film it? Because it didn't seem like it was in
Oh, it was
a
at it was at a train station. I thought.
Union Station or something.
Oh, okay.
in
Because I'm like,
LA.
this does not look like a theater at all.
No, because they usually do it
Right.
in the Dolby Theater, and
Was
It
this
looked like a
because
comedy
of
club in all honesty.
was it
it's
because of
like,
social
like a
distancing?
slightly
I'm
outdoor
assuming
one.
it was
Yeah, they
because of
couldn't
like
have all
social
the
distancing.
people that they couldn't have tons of people there. I thought it was weird that they were all like indoors and maskless, which they made a comment on very quickly, and basically went through like how they did all these protocols.
Mm.
I just thought it was weird they put everyone in this, like a position where they need to do it. Like Sacha Baron Cohen, like was on camera, like he was in Australia. There was a lot of people in the UK that were at their own thing. So like it wasn't fully attended. There was people who didn't even show up at all, like Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
But yeah, Doug, what did you watch much of it?
Yeah, I watched a good chunk of it.
What did you think?
It was just weird. Like I told, like I said, like it just like to me it had like a comedy club vibe where like the Oscars has always got this like black tie, super formal, full of like Hollywood stars vibe to it with
Yeah.
like the red carpet pre-show and all that. And this was just like weird. It was everyone had like their own little table. They circulated in and out who could be sitting there, based on like the award that was being presented at the time, and it didn't have any of the pageantry to me that like the Oscars normally has, and it kind of felt like a cheap knockoff. Like it almost felt like, why even have any in-person aspect to this at all? Like it just didn't feel like
if you're not
worth
gonna
it.
do like make it the like big event that you always make it, like don't even bother. Like it didn't have any host, it didn't have any like skits, didn't have any montages. They barely had any comedy involved at all. Like there was no levity.
No. And a lot of the people that were either like accepting the awards or a lot of the show was you'd wind up going remote anyway, and it was just kind of like, why are we even in person for this? Just felt unnecessary, and to me it kind of cheapened the entire show, where it was just didn't feel like the Oscars.
Yeah, and then like they rushed the in memoriam. Like that went really fast.
Oh man, like
it was like
let's talk about that for a second.
It was on like 1.5, like fast
but
forward.
it was a weird fast forward too, because it would like slow down at points where you're like, all right, like they're getting the speed right, and then like the tempo would just pick up, and it was like flip through people, and like it wasn't like they were just highlighting the important people and then skipping by the lesser known. Not to say that anyone's not important, but it would stop at just like a random person and then flip through like a lot of really well-known actors that had passed away over the last year and a half. It was just bizarre, and it just seemed unnecessary. It didn't seem like they needed that time. I mean, we had this whole debut. Seemed like a time killer, to be honest. Like it seemed like they were just trying to kill time.
Like 2 hours and 45 minutes to do any sort of comedy bit. which I
And
thought
the
was
bit
like
just-
I thought it was funny. I thought Glenn Close was like a pro.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll talk about that probably a little bit more as we talk about it. But the in memoriam was just bizarre. It was bizarre to just flip through some of these really great, well-known actors, and they gave them like less than a second. It felt bizarre.
yeah,
I didn't care for it.
not doing the songs during the show was a mistake. I didn't even catch that until today because it was in the pre-show. You sent me a YouTube link for the Eurovision song, which was better than that. Eurovision performance was better than the entire Oscars, like as a whole.
Oh my god, yeah, that Eurovision.
I
If
gotta
anyone's
watch
listening on Twitch or listening to this back on like the podcast or on YouTube, do yourself a favor. Go on YouTube. You can find it. Google the Hushevik song. It's the main song that the Amy Adams character sings. Of course,
Rachel
she doesn't
McAdams.
actually or Rachel McAdams sings at the end of Eurovision. The song's sung in Iceland, in the town where they at least did the establishing shots for Eurovision. It's beautiful. We got Icelandic children singing the Will Ferrell parts, I believe. They've got fireworks. They've got the Northern Lights. It's awesome. It's well done. Highly recommend you check it out. As Murph said, it's probably one of the better parts of the entire Oscars. And it wasn't even in the main part of the show.
Yeah. And then just the biggest mistake they made was taking a ballsy risk with doing Best Picture, not as the last award of the night, but as the third to last of the night, and then doing Best Actress and Best Actor because they fucking thought it was going to end with Chadwick Boseman winning Best Actor, and they could have had that moment, and it blew up in their face as badly as it possibly could have.
Yeah.
In multiple ways.
So for people that haven't seen it, which they probably haven't based on how poor the ratings were for the Oscar, but can you just kind of tee up, Murph, like bring us to that moment where they basically Best Picture is usually always the last award.
Yeah, I think this was the first time since 1971 that it ended not with Best Picture, and that time it was so Charlie Chaplin could get a career award. But this time they chose not to end with Best Picture. They're like, all right, Nomadland's going to win. That's not going to be that interesting. Meanwhile, Chadwick Boseman passed away. He's up for Best Actor. He's been winning a lot of the awards going into the Oscars. They think he's going to win. It gets to him, or gets to that award, the last one of the night, Best Actor. We've got Joaquin Phoenix coming out to present it. Joaquin Phoenix doesn't give a shit. He basically says, like, oh, they wanted me to say all this kind of stuff, but like I don't really have anything to say about that. And he just goes to the nominees. And then Anthony Hopkins wins.
Yeah. Which was strange.
Anthony Hopkins, oldest Oscar winner of all time, legend. Nothing wrong with the fact that he won. But Anthony Hopkins isn't there.
Mhm.
So you have the most anticlimactic ending to the Oscars ever. And that's not even the best part. Joaquin Phoenix was supposed to call up Olivia Colman to when Anthony Hopkins won because he wasn't there, and she was gonna like speak for him. He doesn't even bother doing that. He just goes, Anthony Hopkins unfortunately isn't here tonight. We'd like to say thank you on his behalf. Good night. And the show ends.
God.
So like, my God, it's like the complete opposite of like when La La Land won, but then it was really Moonlight, and it was like the most crazy, exciting ending. This was just like the most anticlimactic ending that you could have possibly ever gotten. And yeah, that was just, it basically summed up the shit show that was the 2021 Oscars. It's way too late in the year. It included movies from this year. It lowest ratings ever, like you said, Doug. I don't think they're going to improve moving forward into the future. I think like award shows are, with the exception of the Grammys, are pretty much always just going to go down in ratings from this point moving forward.
Probably,
Or they
The
got to
Grammys
figure out a
wins
way
because
to.
it has performances. So that will always drive people to watch. That's more of a concert with some awards. But like, yeah, they need to figure out something to get.
Yeah,
people
they need to.
watch.
There's got to be a show. It's got to be more of a show.
Yeah,
Where
definitely.
they seem to have slowly been getting away from the show aspect of the Academy Awards,
Mhm.
and that's not the right direction for them. They need to up the game, make it more of an event.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no one's gonna tune into it.
Agreed.
Yeah, what a horrible way to end that. And poor Anthony Hopkins on the internet got a ton of heat
Yeah.
for the fact that he like
Yeah.
didn't show up to the
Yeah,
Oscars.
he's fucking 80-something years old. There's COVID going on. Like he did, and he doesn't give a shit about awards. He thinks it's just like a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
But he did give a speech the next day. He posted it on his Instagram. He shouted out Chadwick Boseman during it. It was a very gracious speech. Like, what are you gonna do?
And he was
They
very
shouldn't have put him in
clearly,
that
like,
position.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
shitty position to put
I
him in.
agree. He was very clearly like, I thought Chadwick Boseman was going to win too. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
that's what I like.
Mhm.
I didn't record a message or anything.
Yeah.
So it is
Yeah.
what it is. Let's
I
get we made predictions the day of the four of us.
Well, before we go there, I
Yeah.
had stopped you from talking about, and I feel like it would be unjustified to not talk about the Glenn Close bit.
Oh, okay, yeah, they did like this segment where they played songs from the past, hit songs, and they asked Little Rel Howery from Get Out and a bunch of other stuff. He was kind of emceeing this little part. Questlove is the DJ, and they went through songs and asked people if this song had been nominated before, if it won an Oscar, if it wasn't even nominated. They did They went through a couple people. Daniel Kaluuya.
Daniel Kaluuya was just kind of
Andrew Day from
himself.
Andrew Day from United States versus Billie Holiday, and then it gets to Glenn Close, who's at the same table with Daniel Kaluuya and one of the other guys from Judas and the Black Messiah and the writer of Justice League. Weird table. But they ask her about a song that's from Spike Lee's School Days from back in the 80s. And she's just like rattling off a bunch of facts. It was scripted to a degree. But Daniel Kaluuya and the other dude were like giving her like information to like rattle off because they're much more hip to that type of music. The song's The Butt. But then Little Rel Howery asks her like to do it. And this wasn't like scripted. And like she gets up and fucking like does this. It's basically like fucking twerking. And it's fucking Glenn Close. She's got it, I don't know, 60s, late 60s, 70 years old, something like that. And like tore the house down. Everyone was like dying. Daniel Kaluuya looked like he was having like the time of his life. Spike Lee was tweeting about it afterwards. Like Glenn Close is the fucking boss. Like that was awesome. It was like the only moment they attempted in 3 hours to have comedy.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why. Like they just didn't do more of that throughout the entire night. Like I know you said it felt like filler. Like, and I think it probably felt that way because it was at the very end, and it made it seem like they were rushing other stuff. But like if you had done more of that kind of stuff throughout, like it could have been a more enjoyable show.
Yeah, it felt like filler because it felt like it was all business, and then they were just kind of like, let's go around the room and have this like this song and see if you know whether or not it won an Academy. It just was like it felt so out of place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it would have been great if that was probably the best moment of the night, and so it would have been great if they did more of that and more reminding you of the fact that we gathered all these people here for this live event. Let's like put on a show.
And fucking Glenn Close just lost for the 8th time. She tied the record for the most losses in Oscar history without winning. And she's still having a blast.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have been nominated for Hillbilly
Elegy. Hillbilly Elegy was pretty terrible. I agree with that.
This whole thing reminded me a lot of, way lesser of a production in a show, but a few years ago, it was for a few years, the video game awards were happening and they were just disaster. Like it was just completely off base with every show that they did for like 3 or 4 years. And then they finally found their footing and produce like a fun show for that type of fan, for that fandom. So I
Dude,
feel like that's what they need to do.
if the
Figure it out.
Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences just heard you compare it to the Video Game Awards, I think they'd blow their fucking brains out right now. But that's like the position they put themselves in.
I mean, from what I saw, this was, I didn't watch the whole show, but I'm pretty confident that this show was worse than the worst Video Game Awards that happened. And I should look that up on social media and see, because I'm sure there are other people that are comparing it, because there were disaster shows back
For
like
sure.
4 or 5 years ago. So
For sure. But yeah, we'll get into how we did predicting next. So all four of us did our predictions for all 23 awards. It came incredibly close.
yeah,
I should be
12,
terrified. Like, I deserve to be at the bottom of this list.
but
Close.
it
Oof.
was still really
not by much,
close.
though.
I was shocked how close it was.
JP came in 12 correct. Corey came in with 13 correct. Doug came in with 14 correct. And I came in with 15 correct.
I love how you
And
put in brackets.
The best part is that Doug didn't pick one category. If he had picked it, he could have tied, potentially, with 15 correct.
I was just like tired. I was just tired. I was just like, I don't know. I don't feel like thinking about it.
But yeah, no, I thought that was pretty impressive how close we all came. There were 4 categories where we all got them 100% correct. That was Best Picture, so we all predicted Nomad Land. Best Animated Movie, we all predicted Soul. Best Production Design, we all predicted Mank. And Best Visual Effects, where we all predicted Tenet.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, Tenet, I think that was the only award it won that night, but it seemed like a lock.
Yeah.
Mank won a bunch, and Production Design was the one that we all agreed upon. And then, yeah, Soul, we all knew that was going to win. And Nomadland, everyone was pretty confident that was going to win. What were you going to say, JP?
It didn't win for best sound. Tenet?
No, it did not. Yeah. It could have been nominated for like worst sound.
Yeah, I would have been infuriated if that happened.
Can't understand dialogue. The winner is Tenet.
Yeah.
That was intended.
There were 2 awards where none of us got it right. I don't think it's any surprise to say that Best Actor, we all got that wrong. I think we all predicted Chadwick Boseman.
Us along with the Academy.
Yeah. And that did not happen. And then none of us got Best Adapted Screenplay right. That was for The Father. But so the 2 awards that we all got wrong were both from the movie The Father. I don't think any of us have seen it yet either. It was on Doug's most anticipated of the year.
I want to now.
So I know he has high hopes for it, and clearly it's good.
Yeah, I want to see it.
This award show.
I just got to be in that mood again, where I don't mind getting super depressed.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just Anthony Hopkins with Alzheimer's.
Yes.
Such a happy feel good story.
I wouldn't watch that, right?
And then there were a bunch of categories where we had where 3 got it correct, and then there was 1 odd man out, which I thought was pretty interesting. So maybe we can get some rationale from each of us for that, why we picked who we did. Best Actress, Doug, you got this one incorrect. This went to Frances McDormand. Who did you pick?
Put Carey Mulligan. I think it was just more like wishful thinking.
Gotcha.
I just to me, Frances McDormand didn't blow me away in Nomadland. She was fine. She did a fine job. Carey Mulligan to me was the better performance, and so I don't know. I guess I just wanted Carey Mulligan to get it over Frances McDormand, and obviously you guys weren't as optimistic as I was.
Fair. Best
did you guys? I mean, I know Murph saw Nomadland. Corey and JP, did you guys see Nomadland, or you just knew Frances McDormand had it in the bag?
Yeah, I thought she had it in the bag. I haven't seen it yet.
Nah, I haven't seen it either.
It's on my list.
It's just fair to say like Frances McDormand is a front runner. I mean, she's now tied for second place with the most acting Oscar wins of all time, with 3. So the only person with 4 is Audrey Hepburn, I believe. So there's a few actors that are still in the running that are alive and acting that could potentially get a 4th. Daniel Day-Lewis, well, he's technically retired right now, but I'm sure he'll come out
Yeah, he'll be
of
back.
retirement at some point.
Every 5 years.
Jack Nicholson's alive, but I don't think he's ever making another movie. I think there's like 1 or 2 others. But all right. Best director, Corey, you got this one wrong. I believe you picked Emerald Fennell.
Yeah.
I went to Chloe Zhao. So Emerald Fennell did win an Oscar. She won for best original screenplay. So you just had the category wrong.
My thought process for this is, I know she directed one other. It was a short, right? Like a actual like film. It was a short film. That was the only other thing that she's done. Correct.
Who?
Emerald Fennell, directing wise.
I know her more for TV and acting.
Yeah. So my thought process was this was like her first feature length movie, and she knocked it out of the park. So that's
makes sense.
More or less why I chose it.
Gotcha. Best foreign film, it went to Another Round, which we talked about at the beginning of the program. JP, I'm going to guess you randomly threw a dart at the board for this one because it's foreign film. So why would that would make sense?
I 100% guessed.
Yes. There were plenty of categories where we 100% guessed.
Yeah.
I assume this would be one of them. I had watched this movie, Another Round, over the past week, and it was nominated for Best Director. So it was similar to Parasite last year, where if it's nominated for a major award like that, it's basically a lock to win the foreign award. Best Cinematography, I got wrong. The winner was Mank. I picked Nomadland. The reason why I did was because Nomadland was an IMAX. So I figure if you're an IMAX, you got good cinematography.
Yeah.
So you'll probably win an Oscar. But I was wrong. Mank did have fantastic cinematography, so I was happy to see it win. Documentary short, start at the board, JP? Or did you watch them all in advance?
I watched them all, and I thought how I fucking guessed. Apparently, I guessed wrong.
Yeah, this was one where the one that won, Colette, was the only one where I'd heard the name of it before. So I was like, okay, I'm going to predict this one.
Same here.
That's an Apple TV thing, right? Apple produced that? Colette?
I don't know. But it was one where I saw the name before, and I was like, okay, I'm going with this one.
So this won't come up on here, but one of my wins that I was very excited about was Best Documentary. And it was My Octopus Teacher, and it was the only documentary I saw.
And you were the only one to get it right.
Oh, you actually watched that?
Yeah, I watched it. It's like on Netflix or something. It's entertaining, but like I doubt it was the best documentary.
I almost picked it just based on the name. But I was there's no way this could possibly.
I saw a really funny post. I saw a funny meme. It was like winner of best documentary, My Octopus Teacher, and then it's a picture of Alfred Molina and Tobey Maguire. Back from like 2004, like on a promo tour for Spider-Man 2.
That's great.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Film editing. Doug, you got this one incorrect. Sound of Metal won. I believe you picked Promising Young Woman.
I did. I thought about the movies I saw this past year, and I thought the editing was really good in Promising Young Woman, and it stood out to me more than Sound of Metal. But obviously, you guys knew something that I didn't, and
yeah, I just thought it had strong editing.
Sound editing, I thought it definitely won, and I got that right. But yeah, I thought
sound. JP was the only one not to get this one. I believe you picked Mank.
What, sound?
Sound.
Oh, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I forget which one. Maybe you did. Soul, yes. Which isn't a bad decision. I mean, it won best score.
Yeah, that was
very good sound. I think my pro tip is if the word is in the title of the movie that the award is, that you go for that one. So Sound of Metal, best sound.
Crazy.
Uh, it just happened to work out. And then the last one was makeup and hairstyling.
And I will live and die by this. And
this was the Mank one.
I think Mank should have fucking won this. Like,
I was in between Mank and Ma Rainey. Ma Rainey won.
Same here.
And there was a bunch where I was in between Mank and something else.
Yeah, I'll go to war for this. I think Mank looked better, at least from what I saw.
Yeah.
And the fact that I don't know if he actually shot it in black and white or did it in black and white in post, but if you're shooting a black and white movie in black and white, the makeup has to be on point to make people look better in black and white.
Yeah.
So.
I think what made me and probably made a lot of people that were voting for the makeup and hairstyling go with Ma Rainey was the Viola Davis character.
Yeah. It was her alone that made me pick this.
It was just really well done. Didn't look anything like Viola Davis.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it wasn't distracting, which is it's tough to do when you're making someone look completely different.
Yeah,
right. And that's why I picked it, and I'm guessing that's why a lot of people picked it.
Yeah. All right. But yeah, doing these predictions were fun. Maybe we can do it. We can do it next year for the Oscars. But if there's another award show that would make sense to do it, maybe the Emmys this year in certain categories, we could do it. But yeah, let's go to our favorite performances of the year. There's definitely some overlap. We'll start with Best Supporting Actress. A lot of overlap in this category. And I was the one dissenter, and she was who you guys all picked was my number 2. So Corey, Doug, and JP, you all had Maria Bakalova from Borat subsequent movie film. She was nominated for the Oscar, did not win. Like I said, she was my number 2. I picked Philippa Sue from Hamilton because I don't even know if it's technically eligible for the Oscars or if it was an Emmys.
I think that's a great call out. Yeah.
But it was the one that stuck with me the most this year of a supporting actress. As much as I thought Maria Bakalova was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they were nominated for SAG Awards. Daveed Diggs was nominated for SAG Awards, so they should have been eligible for the Oscars. But yeah, Maria Bakalova was an absolute scene stealer. You can't. There's so many things you can say about her. The guts that it would take to be from a foreign country to come to the U.S. for the first time and do the types of shit she did. Insane.
Yeah, it was honestly like it wasn't even like a hard choice for me. Yeah. Granted, like I love Hamilton. I listened to it today. Philippa Sue does a great job. Renee Elise Goldsberry does a great job. But Maria Bakalova and Borat subsequent movie film was just like you said, Murph. She was just like she was that movie. She carried a lot of it on her back. She was a lot of it was improv, ad lib, just kind of going with the scene. But also she had some scripted stuff. Did all of it really well. Really killed it, and was really like one of those newcomers where it was just somebody that you paid attention to. I mean, none of us knew who she was before this movie. I wouldn't be able to pull that name off of a page before we saw it.
None of us would have been able to.
And like now she's like someone that we're all interested in. We 3 out of the 4 of us put her in like our best supporting actress. So
yeah.
I mean, I think we're all intrigued by her, and I just think there's something interesting about the fact that she was able to do the real life stuff, improv, put in awkward situations and played it really well, but also did the scripted stuff really well. There was just something about her, and I think when you listen to Sacha Baron Cohen talk about finding her, it was a heavy interview process. They went through, it seemed like, hundreds, if not thousands, of different people, and she was like the clear person that stood out among everybody. And I think she was an undiscovered talent, and hopefully we'll see more of her.
Definitely. All right, let's move to best supporting actor then. Interesting one. The fact that 2 of them are from the same movie, and it's 2 different actors, and one of the picks is also up for best actor. So we'll start with the ones that aren't from the same movie. Doug, you had Delroy Lindo from Da 5 Bloods, who was probably the actor was considered the biggest snub from nominations for this year's Academy Awards. And JP, you got Mel motherfucking Gibson in Boss Level. I will love to hear your what you have to say about this one.
Do we have is JP on audio still, or
Yeah,
is
I
he just
think-
completely gone?
Yeah, I think we lost him.
I think we lost
We
him.
lost
I think we
him
lost
a
him.
few minutes ago. Oh, there he
Oh,
is.
there
Oh, there he is, just in
Hey,
time
perfect
to explain
timing.
his Mel Gibson pick.
I mean, I could still explain it without a video, man.
We couldn't hear you. We thought we lost you completely.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah,
strange.
we couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I gotta get through all my pictures that I put up in front of me.
So
Yeah,
Mel
that-
Gibson.
like-
Yeah, I've watched no good movies this year, and I really struggled to figure out a supporting actor to put on here, and I thought, what was a fucking movie that had a strong supporting actor? And absolutely none of them, except for Mel Gibson playing the villain in Boss Level. It's nice to see Mel Gibson back. He played a really, really good, horrible person, which I feel like he's just, not really acting that much, I guess. But I loved him in it. I thought he was a great villain, and I want to see him in more stuff. I don't know. I literally couldn't tell you another movie I watched that had a supporting actor or actress in it that was like out of this world good.
Fair. Doug, anything you want to say about Delroy Lindo?
No, I just thought he was fantastic in the role in the five Bloods. Victim of movie dropping too early. I think if it dropped closer to the Oscars, he would have been at least a nominee for Best Supporting Actor, if not win the whole thing.
Yeah.
I really like your pick, Murph, of Daniel Kaluuya, but I still question whether or not he was a supporting actor when he seemed to be one of the leads in that role. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like a question I had of this, like, as we were thinking about Best Supporting Actor, Best Actor, Best Actress, and Best Supporting Actress. Like, is there a line that you draw for who's supporting and who's lead? Because it seems like that
It's
line's
tight.
gotten
Yeah, it's thin
pretty
line.
gray.
For me, for this movie in particular, I mean, I've only watched it once. I actually do want to watch it again. It comes down to how much time the actor or actress is in the film, and obviously like the story. But with this movie, they both were so. It felt like they were both in almost the same amount of the film, and the story revolved around both of them. So it really, I think it could go either way.
Yeah, like I was of the opinion that Lakeith Stanfield was the lead and Daniel Kaluuya was the supporting. I thought it followed
They were-
his
They
story.
nominated
more,
them
Lakeith
both,
Stanfield.
right?
They both got nominated in supporting actor. So Corey picked Lakeith Stanfield for supporting actor, and I picked Daniel Kaluuya for supporting actor. And then Corey picked Daniel Kaluuya for best actor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting how
Yeah.
how these three panned out in our way of thinking. But yeah, I thought ultimately like Judas came before Black Messiah. It's kind of like Batman and Robin. Batman's your fucking first name. He's your best actor, except for not in this
Yeah.
fucking case with Batman and Robin. And Robin would be the Black Messiah, aka Daniel Kaluuya. But yeah, they both gave fantastic performances. I think I would look at Daniel Kaluuya similar in like a Heath Ledger Dark Knight way, where he's like a force of nature, like when he just comes on the screen. Like that scene where he's giving his big speech
So
about
good.
the revolution, and kill freedom fighter, but you can't kill freedom, and like that whole thing. I thought that was the best scene of the movie. Killed the trailers and everything like that. But yeah, I considered him more of a supporting actor. Yeah. We can go to anything you want to say about Lakeith Stanfield. I think he dipped the moment supporting like that award was done at the beginning of the
really?
show. I never saw him again after that.
Oh my god. Yeah. No.
Not just because they didn't have alcohol, not because like he was pissed or anything.
Yeah.
All right, best actress. We all have different ones here. I'll go first since mine was a nominee. Carey Mulligan, who we talked a bit about before. I just thought she gave a really different performance for her. An exciting one. Hadn't seen her in too many things recently, but I thought she crushed it. I was very close to picking Corey's pick as my number one. Corey, if you want to go into yours.
I went with Elizabeth Moss from Invisible Man, which it feels like this movie came out like ages ago. It came out March of last year or earlier, February.
February.
Yeah, and we saw this in theaters.
Yep.
Which so this performance has stuck with me even up at this point, now that the Oscars are actually happening. I just really enjoyed her performance. I mean, Elizabeth Moss she killed it. She's great in most everything that I've seen. And also a really good thriller. So that's the main reason why I chose this performance rather.
And I know we talked about this a little bit before, but one of the reasons I couldn't pick Elizabeth Moss was because I got too used to her in the torture porn that is The Handmaid's Tale. That poor woman just goes through hell and back and is crying and screaming and goes through every level of emotion. And I think I've just become numb to the fact of just like Elizabeth Moss just getting like tortured and being treated miserably, especially by like a guy, because that's season 1 through 3 and probably going to be season 4 of The Handmaid's Tale. So if you really like that and you want more of seeing Elizabeth Moss suffer, Handmaid's Tale on Hulu.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have pushed me further and further away from watching that show. At this point, I don't really want to watch it at all anymore.
Season 1's fantastic. I highly recommend season 1.
All right. Doug, you want to get into your pick?
Yeah, so I picked I don't know how to say her name.
Letitia Wright.
Letitia Wright, who I knew mainly from Black Panther. She's Shuri.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought absolutely killed it. And if anyone's seen the 5X or not 5X, Small Axe, which is basically a mini series of movies with the crown jewel being this Mangrove movie, which I had talked about in a prior episode. But she's kind of like Judas and the Black Messiah. She's a prominent person in the Black Panther organization, and she gives a fantastic performance. And I don't know that the Academy knew what to do with the Mangrove and with this Small Axe series, but
I think it wasn't eligible.
Really?
Yeah, it had to be. It was the Emmys.
Okay. Well, I think it should have been eligible because this was basically a full-length movie. Just happened to be in this series where none of the episodes tie together. But I thought she did a fantastic job and deserved recognition. Shuri, her role as Shuri never like did anything for me, so I was really surprised that she was as good of an actress as she was, and that was the first time I saw her give a really dramatic performance.
Gotcha.
So if you all haven't seen Mangrove, and you're looking for something that's Judas and the Black Messiah meets Trial of the Chicago 7, check out Mangrove.
Cool. And JP, another one I was surprised about from you, based on how much you hated the film.
It's fucking horrible movie
that the actress was in.
Absolutely horrible movie. I have not watched anything good this year. So I have Rosamund Pike and I Care a Lot, which is an absolutely horrible movie. I'd like to just say that again. But Rosamund Pike, great actress. Yeah, just couldn't save this absolutely horrible movie.
You just wanted to make fun of this movie again.
No, I legitimately couldn't think of a single thing that I watched that 2020 was a bleak year for me with watching movies, and none of these like Oscar type movies really really appeal to me at all. So
Mm-hmm.
this is really what I had to work.
kinda
with.
slim
I love
pickings.
Rosamund Pike. I think she's great, but
Yeah, no, Rosamund Pike's fantastic, and she was definitely the highlight of the movie. All right. Let's end it with Best Actor. We already covered Daniel Kaluuya in Judas and the Black Messiah. That was Corey's pick. JP, your pick was actually nominated for Best Actor. If you want to go into yours.
I think he should have won. Gary Oldman and Mank fucking acted his goddamn heart out. Still a performance that's stuck with me over this last year. I just think he did a fucking fantastic job. Just killed it, knocked it out of the park.
And fun fact, Mank won more Academy Awards than Citizen Kane.
Hell yeah!
Oh,
let's
wow.
go.
That's interesting.
Citizen Kane, and I believe only won one for its screenplay, which Mank wrote.
Damn.
And Mank won, I guess, 2 or 3 awards during the night.
Good for you, Mank.
Okay. Yeah, no, Gary Oldman was great. I mean, I think we all enjoyed his performance. Weird. Just realized, Doug, your pick and my pick, all 3 are fucking drunks in their movies.
Cool.
Doug, you want to go with yours next since we've talked about another round a bunch already today?
Yeah, and kind of like a little disclaimer. I guess if I was gonna like pick as the Academy, I probably would have voted for Riz Ahmed, just because his performance was amazing in Sound of Metal. But the one that really stuck with me was just Mads Mikkelsen in another round. I think seeing him in that role that I'm just not used to seeing him in, where he was just kind of this normal person that didn't have any evil intentions and didn't want to kill somebody, and just watching him kind of go through the monotony of life and then kind of come alive as he went through this drinking experiment, and then just seeing his ultimately where he winds up at the end of the movie has just really stuck with me. It's a performance I really loved of Mads Mikkelsen. It's a movie that not really sure I'm still trying to understand, I think, the ultimate point of the movie and what the movie was trying to tell me. But it's just kind of a performance that stuck with me and a movie that stuck with me. And so I felt like it was appropriate to put him here.
Yeah, no, he was definitely really good in it. And you and I had talked about the ending. We weren't even sure. It's like kind of ambiguous on how it ends, and
I wasn't really sure.
Thing,
yeah,
like
it just goes from like highs and lows to all over the place, and it kind of ends in like this weird place. But I can confirm that Mads Mikkelsen is pretty spry for his age.
He's a good dancer.
He was doing things that I was just like, I don't think I can do that.
He was doing like fucking parkour.
Yeah, I was just like,
that's pretty great.
That's pretty impressive.
He could have been in the beginning of Casino Royale instead of playing Lashif and bleeding from his eye.
But I've watched that end scene a couple of times just because I think it's kind of fun, even though I don't know if it's supposed to be.
Exactly. I was like, is this like a melancholy, like bittersweet ending, or is it like
it's a weird ending?
It's supposed to be super like jubilant. What exactly is going on here? We'll see if the one in the U.S. is makes it more clear when it eventually comes out with Leo. All right, and then my pick was Ben Affleck in The Way Back, which came out all the way back in early or late mid-February of 2020. Similar to Elizabeth Moss, this was just one that stuck with me, where I thought it was easy for Ben Affleck. I imagine it was both easy and hard for him to do this performance because I know he's had substance abuse issues, and his character is he drinks so much beer in this movie.
Yeah.
But he really gave it his all. I thought it just goes to show when you put him in the right role, he absolutely crushes it.
Mm-hmm.
He's been a guy who I feel like Hollywood hasn't been 100% sure what to do with. And he's been in the wrong role plenty of times. But when he's in the right one, like a Gone Girl or something like that, he's one of the best, I believe, of working actors in the U.S.
Yeah, and
I
just
agree, definitely.
I didn't really love this movie, but I think Ben Affleck didn't get a lot of credit for this role because of the fact that he's had a drinking problem. But I don't know that makes you like makes this role any easier. If anything,
No,
it probably makes
yeah,
it more
exactly.
difficult.
Yeah, that's like what I was kind of like getting at. It's probably tough to get back in that. Like you're constantly having to think about the things that like you fucked up in your life in the past because of drinking, and things like that. I mean, his character is like if it's like if you took Russell Crowe in Unhinged and like he was like kind of gave it like slightly similar performance to that, just without being crazy. But like they had him like he was like really big and like he's fucking clearly like broken. He's gone through hell and things like that. It's just like he just hasn't gone like that one step where he completely loses it. He like you just watch him like kind of like simmering like internally throughout like a lot of this film. I just thought it was very well done. But yeah, that was the Oscar season, 2020, early 2021. Thankfully, from now it's gone. Now we can only think about the rest of 2021 moving forward, which hopefully we'll get plenty of better. I think we're going to get a lot more movies, a lot more exciting stuff this year than we did over those 14 months that we covered today. And hopefully we'll get a better Academy Awards ceremony next year, like a more traditional one, with some modern day flourishes that make it more exciting to the average viewer, or even like a viewer like myself, who just thought it sucked. But yeah, that's all we got for today. Thank you again for listening. Our bonus segment this week on YouTube and after this on Twitch is our yearly film series covering 2009. So the four of us will be covering a film from that year that we found very memorable. We're going to be off next week. When we do come back in 2 weeks, we're going to do our second attempt at a summer movie preview. We hopefully it goes better than it did in 2020 when most of the movies we discussed got pushed. It was absolute shit show, but it seems like Hollywood is in a much better place for this year, and things by the time we record in 2 weeks, things will be fully locked down for the summer. Maybe Peter Rabbit 2 will change its date again. Who knows?
Oh, dude, don't say lockdown. Don't say lockdown.
That's true. Don't want to jinx it, but hopefully it's going to be much closer than what it ended up being last year when everything was getting moved left and right throughout the summer. But as always, this has been Corey, Doug, JP, and Murph at Live Breathe Film. We will be back in 2 weeks, and we hope to see you then. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.